We're not going to play any more games with Abby Lowell.
Comer says lawmakers are currently negotiating with Hunter's legal team. If a new date isn't reached, House Republicans will move to hold Biden in contempt of Congress this week.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill, where the president's son defied a subpoena for a closed-door deposition, which Republicans want as part of an impeachment inquiry of the president. Just getting word, Iran launched missiles and drones at a militant group, this time in Pakistan, after strikes recently in Syria and Iraq, retaliating for attacks in Iran, as the U.S. military hits Iran-backed rebels with another airstrike.
We're told the strike destroyed 4 ballistic missiles. According to American officials, the weapons were in a Houthi-controlled part of Yemen, being prepared to target merchant ships in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The search continues for 2 U.S. Navy SEALs missing in the Gulf of Aden after a raid seizing Iran-made weapons from a ship believed to be heading for the Houthis. America is listening to Fox News.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Still windy, 16 for the high. Wind chills this afternoon, 0 to -5. Tonight, clear, cold, windy, 8 for the overnight low. Below 0 wind chills. Wednesday, sunny, a very cold start. Temperatures a little better, though, Wednesday afternoon, 35. But it's not going to feel great because the winds stay up. Clouds and a couple of snow flurries on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hi, it's Scott and Andrea at Best Buy Flooring, sounding the alarm for all contractors. Holidays are around the corner and we have in-stock flooring for all of your projects.
Contractor pricing for carpet, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, carpet tile, ceramic tile, and sheet vinyl.
2 locations to serve you, 7301 North Lindbergh Boulevard in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring. Hurry in.
Can't wait for weeks to get your tax refund? Then don't. At Jackson Hewitt, get money today if you're approved for a no-fee refund advance loan on a prepaid card. Book today at jacksonhewitt.com. No-fee refund advanced offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be
I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
So it's now off to New Hampshire, a great place. We won it last time, and we won it both times, and we love it. The people are great. But you know, the truth is the people in our country are great. They're all great. We love Iowa, but they're all great. They only want to see one thing. They want our country to come back. They're embarrassed by what's going on. Our country is laughed at. All over the world, they're laughing at us. And they want our country to come back. They want America, you know, they want us to be great again. It's a very simple MAGA, make America great again.
So President Trump, former President Trump, potentially the next president of the United States, wins the Iowa caucus with about 52% of the vote. And when you compare what the results were in Iowa to what the polls said that they were going to be, they were pretty close. Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley both within the margin of error of most polls, and they performed pretty much the way the polls said that they were going to perform. And I would say that's a little refreshing, unusual. I don't know that if I'm going to turn myself completely over to the idea that those polls are going to be gospel at this point, but a bit refreshing that what we've been led to believe is actually the way it turned out. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. We covered a lot of Iowa caucus prep yesterday here on the show. Brad and I did, and we are excited to finally have some results. Let's listen in here as it was officially called.
Based on the first results and our Fox News voter analysis, the Fox News decision desk can now project that former President Donald Trump will win the Iowa caucuses.
He will take the lion's share of the state's 40 delegates. This result really solidifies his place as the current front runner for the nomination. Former Governor Haley and Governor DeSantis fighting for second. And this is really going to maybe last a while because it's a close race right now, how we see it based on the numbers we're looking at.
So were you surprised by that? Because the one thing that I can sort of liken this to, this other situation scenario might be a little more abrupt, was in 2018, midterm election. We're doing election coverage here on 97.1. The studio's packed with people. It's the evening. 97.1 is a buzz with everything that's going on. I walk in the door to take my spot in the studio along with with our cohorts here on 97.1 for that coverage. I didn't even make it around the desk here for them to project J.B. Pritzker as the governor of Illinois, which was what I was really hanging my hat on. I was really hoping against hope that Rauner would pull it out at the end. And I mean, it was such a trouncing that it was basically the first election called when the Central Time Zone polls closed. It was devastating at that time. And honestly, I can say I'll follow up with that and say it's been devastating for Illinois every day since. Last night, sitting down in my chair, getting ready for the first night of actual real results in the 2024 election cycle. And boom, there it is. Donald Trump projected the winner of the caucus. I'm very curious about the timing of the call, the notifications that went out. There are a lot of reports of people who were inside polling places, caucus areas, that were in the process of voting. And you know, I think that if you're looking at races that took place maybe in the state of Arizona or other places, if races were being called and winners being projected, and those races come down to be such a small margin of victory, that makes an impact. It might not, it's just, I don't think that call necessarily would have changed the outcome of first place, but second and third were pretty close. And it just kind of makes me wonder why that happens the way it did. It seems like there should be some sort of journalistic integrity to where nobody's allowed to call a race until X amount of time or confirmation that all the polls are closed. I don't know. Just seems bizarre. It seems as though these types of instances happen where if you can project a winner, if you've got, in an actual general election, if it's looking like a pretty strong sweep from the East Coast into the central time zones before you get to Mountain Time and Pacific Time, you can kind of decide some things before the close on the Pacific Coast even actually close. I don't know what the solution is. I'm going to ask our friend Tyler Bowyer about it. He's an RNC National Committeeman. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Turning Point Action as well. He's going to be with us at 1:25. He's been with us before. He is very well versed in these kinds of things. He's also in Arizona located, so he's paying very close attention to how these elections are run and the way that they are presented and called and all of that. So if you have questions about that, we will get to the bottom of it with Tyler Bowyer at 1:25. Watching President Trump last night speak after his victory was very much so what I've been hoping to see from Donald Trump on this campaign trail. Listening to him address the situation at hand, talk about Joe Biden, who I want to be the person who we're focusing our attention on. And I understand the muck that you have to go through in a primary in order to get to the place where you can focus on Joe Biden as the guy. I understand that. But I feel as though the emphasis that has been made on just all-out slandering Ron DeSantis in the stupidest possible ways. I mean, the juvenile ways with which the Trump campaign has worked to attack Ron DeSantis, backed up with a ton of money, is incredibly annoying to me. I can be tracking, this is just my personal experience, and some of y'all are going to say, Annie, grow some thick skin. I've got some pretty thick skin, but I'm just telling you honestly where I am because there's a lot of people who listen to the show who tell me the exact same thing. So I think it's important for me to say it out loud. When Donald Trump is lobbing bombs and talking about what he would do versus what Joe Biden is doing, and he's being aggressive with it, I don't mind that at all because we have a common opponent in those conversations. When he starts to move into his primary opponents and he says one of the stupid names he's given Ron DeSantis, I'm out. I mean, it's that simple. I'm just out because I don't feel as though the nicknames are A, necessary, or B, they're not accurate. So it frustrates me. It bothers me. That's just the truth of it. It doesn't stop me. I'm not so thin-skinned that it's going to stop me from voting for him and trying to support Joe Biden. I mean, knock it off if you think that that's when somebody criticizes Donald Trump for doing something that they don't like in this regard. Listen to those people because they're not saying that they don't support Donald Trump. They're saying there's something that Donald Trump does that they don't prefer, they don't like. There's nothing wrong with that. We need to be able to have that discourse. Last night, Trump didn't do it. And what I'm seeing a lot of and hearing a lot of is people commending him for a really nice speech after he won the Iowa caucus. He decisively won the Iowa caucus. He didn't take that opportunity to dunk on his primary opponents. He squarely focused on two things: gratitude and Joe Biden. And this is the way Trump wins. This is refreshing for me. This is refreshing for me enough that I can read the tea leaves. I know that Ron DeSantis' path towards victory here is only through a few sorts of mishaps, which Vivek Ramaswamy in his concession speech last night said, the only path for us here involves circumstances that he doesn't want to see happen. I don't see Ron DeSantis having a pathway to 2024 victory that isn't barring something incredibly unusual. And I can admit that, and I still like Ron DeSantis, and I still hope that he's going to be my president, but I can also face reality and know that Donald Trump's going to be the nominee, and I want Donald Trump to win, and I know that Donald Trump, of those three, Trump, Haley, and DeSantis, I think Trump is going to have the hardest time pulling off victory in November. That doesn't mean I don't think he can, and it doesn't mean that I won't vote for him. But I think there are some challenges that are completely out of his control, that are completely unfair, and there are a few that are within his control. I am a suburban woman. That is a very valuable commodity in the Trump campaign because apparently he has problems with suburban women. And I don't like the fact that suburban women are always painted as these emotional, thin-skinned people who once Donald Trump says something that is, I'm just going to use the easy word here, mean, that they just crumble and boo-hoo and then go vote for the hard-on-the-sleeve liberal that's running for office. That's not the way it is. Because those suburban women care about a few incredibly important things. And I discussed this yesterday with Kayleigh McEnany. I've got a 14-year-old son. He'll be 15 at the end of this year, which means the next president, the person who wins the election in November of 2024, will be the president when my son turns 18. And if the world is on fire the way that it is right now when my son turns 18, that commander-in-chief means a hell of a lot to me. Putting my son in a position to serve in a military that looks like Biden's military compared to serving in a military that looks like Trump's military, that is an easy decision for me. And if Donald Trump is going to call somebody a name, that's not going to stop me from using my head and being sensible in the way that I'm going to cast my vote. But it's also not going to make me shut my mouth and say that, okay, yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, I accept it. I was wrong. He was right. Those nicknames, those funny nicknames, they're funny. They don't make me mad. I can say whatever I want to say, and suburban women know that. You got to listen to them. You got to understand what makes them tick. You got to understand that an unsecure border and fentanyl creeping into the homes of suburban families right now is a huge freaking deal. And if you're going to have somebody who's going to be the commander-in-chief and completely abdicate his responsibilities at the southern border, that's going to be a problem to a mom who doesn't want that fentanyl finding its way into the one bad decision that your child makes that ends up killing them in their bedroom at night. That matters to suburban moms. The idea that a suburban mom might want to control the moral and ethical, cultural initiatives that are being snuck into classrooms across the country. How you might want to handle those tender situations in a way in your home that might be different than the people in the home next to you, and you're okay with the fact that the people in the home next to you do things differently than you, but you still want to retain the right to do them differently in your home. When you have a president of the United States and a Department of Homeland Security who wants to say that you and your Catholic faith makes you a domestic terrorist and put you on some kind of list, yeah, I got a big problem with that. And yeah, I'm still a suburban mom. I'm still a suburban, middle-aged, white woman living in the suburbs, college-educated, Christian home, and I'll still vote for Donald Trump. I've got no problem with it. If I've got criticisms along the way, folks, I got criticisms for everything. The idea that somehow or another Donald Trump is going to become the perfect candidate and change everything that he's going to do to align, to appease one subsect of people, that's not realistic. Criticisms are going to abound everywhere. And what Donald Trump did last night, to me, I need at least 2 consecutive speeches like this to feel like it was intentional. But what I heard from Donald Trump last night was gratitude. He thanked his family. He talked about how his family is being persecuted and dealing with a lot of abuse, but still, they show up, they work hard, they're fighting for this campaign, they have jobs of their own. He listed his children. He talked about his wife and how much he loved his wife. He talked about his wife's late mother and how wonderful she was. He talked about family. And while the Fry family may not be rolling quite like the Trump family, there are elements of the way they treat family, prioritize family, and deal in a cohesive family unit that I appreciate and respect. I can feel the comments right now without even reading them, talking about how many wives that Donald Trump has had. And that's supposed to be something that offends suburban women. Do you know any divorced suburban women? The double standard that the left has successfully been able to hold the right is something that we need to burst through and just ignore. Just push away. We're all going to have the things about Donald Trump that we like. And the number one thing about Donald Trump that we like is that he cares about the freedom, the liberty, the independence that exists in we, the people that run the country, where the president of the United States serves those people. He understands the idea of freedom. More than anybody else in my lifetime that I have watched serve in that office. He's pushed away the status quo, the modus operandi of how the swamp functions in Washington, D.C., and he has made it so that the American people are able to enjoy the blessings that abound in a capitalistic society that we are unashamed of, prioritizing our country first so that we can best help those around us without shame. The Biden administration became the Biden administration by telling us to hate one another, by pointing out every difference that we have with one another, by talking about a hierarchy, a victimhood, and using it against us so that at the end, nobody is a hero, everybody is a victim. You just got to know what order you stand in so that you can know who you've oppressed and who's oppressed you. And once we all hate each other, and once we all know which corners to run through, he goes to the Oval Office and he acts as though he's going to be the adult in the room, bring us together, unite us. And then he never even attempts to do it. Every day in office for Joe Biden has been another day to divide. And they do that with which they accuse the Trump campaign every single day as a foundational element to how they retain power, because that is all that matters to them. Power and more power. Power that breeds power. It's time that it ends. Now, I think Ron DeSantis is going to stay in this race for a couple more cycles here, a couple more weeks. And I want Ron DeSantis to drop out. And I put this on Twitter last night. I wish Ron DeSantis would have come out last night and said, you know what? It's clear. A majority mandate in Iowa say Donald Trump is our guy. And I think that I've built the fabric of my foundation in a very America First way. And I understand that there's not a pathway for me to get this nomination. And it's important that we stick to the America First agenda, which is why I'm throwing my support behind Donald Trump. That's what I wanted to hear him say. But there's a reason why he's likely not going to do that for a while, because if he drops out, then Nikki Haley becomes the two-person race that she said very, very strangely last night that this is.
Tonight, Iowa made this Republican primary a two-person race.
What in the world is she talking about? A two-person race? The idea that this is a two-person race and she came in third? What does that even mean? It becomes a two-person race if Ron DeSantis drops out. So now Ron DeSantis, not as the person vying for the actual nomination, Ron DeSantis becomes useful to Donald Trump. And I think that this is pretty clear to anybody who's paying attention in both of those camps. I will be looking for Donald Trump to ease off Ron DeSantis. I will be looking for Ron DeSantis to suspend his campaign, throw the full weight of his support and his supporters behind Donald Trump. And I would expect it to be after South Carolina. Because Ron DeSantis will pull from Nikki Haley's support in New Hampshire. That will help Donald Trump. So I think Ron DeSantis sticks around for a while, even though I wish that we could just get to the business of the year and focus on Joe Biden. Ron DeSantis will need to remain for some time in order to marginalize Nikki Haley. Vivek Ramaswamy is out, and it is now a three-person race. We want to know what you think about this year, this election year, and Donald Trump. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, are we experiencing deja vu Trump? Yes, Trump 2016. Yes, Trump 2020. Or no, this is a whole new animal. If you go to the Annie-Fry YouTube channel, you can vote and tell us what you think and why you feel that way. A lot of people last night saying this is 2016 all over again. And for every one of those, it felt like I saw someone who was saying 2020. Let us know what you think. We're going to be back with more reaction to the Iowa caucus in just a few minutes.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
RulerFoods.com. If you're shopping for groceries this January, looking to shape up your budget, Ruler Foods is a really super smart way to start off that process because you save every time you shop at Ruler Foods. They have your name brands that you like, and they have it very, very well organized, very clean stores, easy to shop. But they also carry Kroger brands. Did you know that Ruler Foods is a Kroger brands store? They just carry Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices, so you get to save even more. If you're looking to save right now on some good protein for feeding your family, let me tell you about the Heritage Farm boneless, skinless chicken breasts or chicken wings. My husband got some of those and smoked the chicken wings, and he's obsessed with it now. $2.49 a pound. They also have baby back ribs or assorted bone-in pork chops, $2.99 a pound as well. If you're looking for produce, they've got 8-pound bags of navel oranges or 5-pound bags of Gala apples, $4.99 each. Save when you shop at Ruler Foods. If you want to learn more about the flyer that lists all these special promotional items, or if you want to find the Ruler Foods closest to you, just go online to rulerfoods.com.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code PENNY and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code PENNY. LUMEdeodorant.com, code PENNY for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code PENNY. LUMEdeodorant.com, code PENNY. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code PENNY.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Drury Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call today at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I feel occasional burning and stabbing in my hands as I age.
I sometimes feel numbness and tingling in my feet as I get older.
It's starting to get in the way of doing what I love.
At Nervive, we hear you, and we can help. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use.
Now that I know, I'm taking control.
Try Nervive Nerve Relief and say yes to healthy nerves. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-291-1017. 800-291-1017. Again, that's 800-291-1017. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 15% off attic insulation. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Conservatives Care supports organizations making a difference in our community. Kim St. Ange here. USO Missouri serves active, reserve, and National Guard military members and their families throughout the St. Louis Metro and Kansas City. Learn how you can support their mission at 971talk.com/care.
Everybody gets high sometimes, you know. What else can we do when we're feeling low? So take a deep breath and let it go.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I will still be patient with you, and I hope you know I won't let go. I'll be your lifeline tonight. I won't let go. I'll be your lifeline.
I want to congratulate Ron and Nikki for having a good time together. We're all having a good time together. And I think they both actually did very well. I really do. I think they both did very well. We don't even know what the outcome of second place is. And I see Carrie Lake. Congratulations, Carrie. Very good. I spotted her, I have to announce, because she's terrific. She's going to be a senator, a great senator, I predict, right? You're going to be a great senator. And I also want to congratulate Vivek, because he did a hell of a job. He came from 0, and he's got a big percent, probably 8%, almost 8%, and that's an amazing job. They all did. They're all very smart people, very capable people.
So Donald Trump last night in his speech after the Iowa caucus had been completed, and he took a little bit of time to come out there, and I don't think that I guess they hoped that they would be able to call it that quickly, but they didn't have a ton of people in the room when it was called. So there was no big hurrah when Donald Trump was named the winner, because the room wasn't full of people yet. It was that quickly. I would like to know what you think about this. We're going to read some of the comments on the Annie Fry YouTube chat poll right now. Are we experiencing deja vu Trump? Yes. Trump 2016? Yes. Trump 2020? Or no? If you want to give us a call, I'll take a few phone calls here, which we don't do very often, but it's the day after we vote, and I want to know what you think about the results. So the number is 314-241-9797. Call us at 314-241-9797, and you can tell us what you think. If this is Trump 2016, Trump 2020, or you don't think that this is anything that we've seen before, give us a call, and we'll have you on for a minute or two. 314-241-9797. Some of the comments coming in right now from our listeners. Jesse says, I voted no. It's going to be Trump, but this time we all know he has the best shot at it. Hands down, he will win, thanks to Biden and his corrupt Justice Department. Russell says, yes, it's deja vu all over again. Left media is going bananas. Ain't that the truth, Russell? With the Trump win, refuse to air Trump's speech. Shocker that they dictate what the viewer needs to watch based on their opinion. Is there a more obvious elitist mentality from what we saw last night from the left? That on MSNBC, they won't carry this speech live because they just can't trust Donald Trump.
At this point in the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses has just started giving his victory speech. We will keep an eye on that as it happens. We will let you know if there's any news made in that speech, if there's anything noteworthy, something substantive and important. The reason I'm saying this is, of course, there is a reason that we and other news organizations have generally stopped giving an unfiltered live platform to remarks by former President Trump. It is not out of spite. It is not a decision that we relish. It is a decision that we regularly revisit. And honestly, earnestly, it is not an easy decision, but there is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. That is a fundamental truth of our business and who we are. And so his remarks tonight will not air here live. We will monitor them and let you know about any news that he makes.
She just talked there for a minute. It took her about 40 seconds to even say Donald Trump's name. She said something to the effect of the person who won the Iowa caucus is about to speak. Say his name. Say it. Say it out loud. Trump. Donald Trump. Former president, Donald Trump. Possibly future president, Donald Trump. It gives them a rash to even consider the fact that that might be a possibility. And if they actually think, imagine this. Think about how much footage they have shown from January 6th. Think about how much they've used the images, the words, caution for folks at home, but these images are very hard to take in. That type of stuff. When they're putting January 6th stuff out there on the regular, talking about an insurrection, a takeover of our country, and talking about everything that they feel went into it, pounding it into your head over and over. Again, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. There's nobody who's going to change their mind on January 6th right now. I was thinking about this on the way into work today. Because January 6th came up. It's always something that is lurking about. If you talk about January 6th to 100 people that you know, my guess is that to 100 people, it will be considered a political conversation. All of them. We'll look at it through the lens of politics. If you speak about 9/11 to somebody who was alive to see that unfold, somebody who experienced it, whether they knew somebody who was in the tower or not, it is one of the most personal stories that a person can tell if they were alive to experience September 11th. If you have that conversation with somebody and you were both alive, maybe in completely different places, to experience September 11th, there is an emotional connection that you have from sharing the experience of living through September 11th. There is hurt, there is sorrow, there is pain. Every September 11th, when those images come back up on the screen, you feel it again. It rushes over you. It consumes you for that amount of time, and you feel compelled to go through it every year because it's so important to understand what happened to the United States that day. Nobody feels that way about January 6th. The people who are peddling it don't feel that way about January 6th. The people who are peddling it know that it might be great political capital to expend in an election year to manipulate people into supporting a candidate that retains or grows power on one particular side. It is patently offensive to hear anybody ever articulate January 6th and September 11th in the same breath, even in the same thought, because they are nothing alike. Now, there are a lot of things that happen in our country on a day-to-day basis that are bad. So to suggest that January 6th and September 11th aren't the same isn't to say that January 6th was good. And only rubes would be out there trying to connect those types of words to say he has no problem with January 6th. That reaction to what I just said is political because you're trying to make a political point, because that's, at the end of the day, all that this is worth. But if you look what these same people who are so protective of your teeny, tiny little brains and your very manipulatable hearts and emotions. If we subject you to Donald Trump, we don't think that you have the brain capacity to understand how bad that would be for us. So we're not going to show you. That's the summation of it. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's oozing with elitism, which is funny because that's the type of thing that they used to be able to project on the left, from the left to the right. And it took the wealthiest Republican in the land, or one of them, to come out like the Kool-Aid man, the orange Kool-Aid man, through the wall to say, here I am, I'm really rich, I'm really wealthy, I'm very popular, and I'm a Republican. To make them all contort themselves into this knot, and they don't know what to do with it. They cannot untie themselves. Donald Trump has tied them into a knot that they cannot untie. Still. And as they work to get untied, they get even more convoluted in the mess. So what they do is they, ironically, build a wall between you and the actual information of what's going on there, because your little pea brains can't listen to Donald Trump and decide for your little insignificant selves what Donald Trump is actually saying. Because I know that Donald Trump comes out here and he says nice things about his opponents. And he talks about getting America to the point where it is great. And you might think that he did a good job, but you need to understand that he is a threat to the status quo, the power, the structure, the relationships that are in play right now. He's a threat to everything that we need to stay the way it is. And if he gets back in there, it could all crumble. And then what would happen to us? We will save you from yourselves. That's what the mainstream media is. That's what they do. And the ironic thing is, people have voted with their feet, their eyes, and their remotes, and they don't watch them much anymore. But when you see that 20%, 30%, Joe Biden has 33% approval rating, those are their people. Those are the people who have the talking points every single day. When the news is squarely focused on A, B, and C, they're up there with talking points D, E, and F every single day. You can count on it. You can set your clock to it. It's quite unbelievable. I want to take a quick phone call here before we go to a break. Chuck, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. What do you think about Iowa caucus results, President Trump? Is this Trump 2016, 2020, or something different?
No, this is something different. You know, I'm glad that he took first place, and he's going to continue doing that. And I'm hoping and praying that he'll be rightfully put back in as a president. But one thing that really impressed me about him is that he didn't come up with all that smart stuff, you know, smart aleck talk and all that childish stuff. If he could learn, and I pray that God teaches him this, to keep his stinking mouth shut on stupid issues where the press will get him in a stupid little argument over nothing. He's got to prove he's the last word or something, and that's so childish. But I hope that he's learning things and maybe going through court is teaching him how to maybe keep his mouth shut. I don't think so.
Wouldn't that be the greatest irony of ironies, Chuck, if court is what told him to sit still and choose your words carefully? Chuck, thank you for the phone call. I really appreciate it. What a great call. Tim called in to say, he didn't want to go on the air, but Tim called in to say that Trump is acting differently than he did during the 2016 and 2020 elections. He's acting, this is what he said, quote, he is acting like a proper politician without actually being a politician, end quote. End of quote. To quote Joe Biden. Acting much more professionally than he has in previous elections. We're seeing it, folks. Can it stick? Can it stay? Well, I sure hope so. And like Chuck said there, I'm gonna say a prayer that it continues to do so. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Ryan Wiggins in studio with us once again. He's gonna do a little Wiggins America on the 7 essential teen dating rules and how to discuss them. How do you talk about dating with your teens? You may remember having to do this. You may never have talked about dating with your teens. Wiggins America to give us the 2024 version of what we need to know. We'll be right back.
Feel you're sinking, I will jump right over into
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Take us into different places, I will still be patient with you. And I hope you know I won't let go.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, waiting for you to stop by or stop by online. You can do that too. It's very simple. Just go to igotfloored.com. Michael's Flooring Outlet, the very best in the business. Our partners here at 97.1, reliable partners, people who we can be confident to send you to shop your flooring. We know you work your butts off for the money that you are going to invest in this flooring, and we want to connect you with people who are going to be able to protect that dollar, to value that dollar, to make sure that you get the value out of the flooring that you are looking for, but that you don't have to sacrifice quality, because we know very much so that you, as a 97.1 listener, care deeply about quality. Michael's Flooring Outlet has the flooring options that you're looking for. So if you're looking for commercial replacement of flooring, if you're looking for residential replacement of flooring, all of it, they are there to guide you through that process and connect you with the brand and the finish that you have picked out in your mind. If you don't know what you're looking for, but you know you need to replace something, they can start from scratch and show you those options that are in front of you so that you can make an educated decision. And the displays that they have in store, once you've gone past the igotfloored.com perusing and you go in store to actually see the flooring for yourself, the displays are really, really helpful in making you make a confident, good decision. If you're looking for flooring replacement, shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can start online at igotfloored.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. Experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
The big question of the day after those Iowa caucuses, are we experiencing deja vu Trump? That is the subject of the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. That's what you type in, Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Well, if you type in Annie Fry on YouTube, that'll all come up. We want to know what you think about that question. Are we experiencing deja vu Trump? Yes, Trump 2016. Yes, Trump 2020. Or no, it is 12:50 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
St. Louis's destination for questioning the narrative.
Your home for conservative talk.
This is 97.1 FM Talk. This is The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
I've been trying to do it right. I've been living a lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead. I've been sleeping in my bed. Sleeping in my bed.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! All right, guys, what I have for you today is essential teen dating rules and how to discuss them. And, of course, this changes with time because of technology and because of the way the world works. So let's go through a few of these. And in context here, it says to first explain to your kid why you're having these conversations. Empathize. Well, it gets into that, and it's really up to you. I'll actually start with that one because it says, number one, decide on an appropriate age that your teen can start dating. So whether you're having this conversation right then or beforehand, it's really up to you. It says research shows that the average age for girls to start dating is 12 and a half.
Wrong.
While the average age for boys is 13 and a half.
Extra wrong. No.
It's got to depend on your definition of dating.
I was just going to say, what are we talking about? Yeah. Texting each other?
And it probably does mean that at this age because they're definitely not going and seeing each other that often.
One of the great benefits of sending my children to a parochial school, Lutheran for us, but I'd imagine it's similar if you're at a non-denominational Christian, whatever, Catholic probably, is that by the time they get into 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they've been with each other for so long. Not interested.
It's weird. Yeah, it's like your brothers and sisters a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll be lifelong friends with them in many regards. But
true.
We haven't dealt with that quite yet. So,
at what age do you start to deal with this? What age do you think that dating starts to be okay in the traditional sense? Maybe not in just the texting phase.
I mean, high school. I think I had my first boyfriend the summer after 8th grade. But it was like ridiculous.
Right.
But I got to start somewhere. I don't want it. You don't want their first boyfriend or girlfriend to be like super serious.
Exactly.
You don't want it to be like that.
Yeah, I was quote unquote dating starting in about 3rd or 4th grade.
I'm sure you were.
I mean, I had girlfriends and I would tell people, oh, well, I have a girlfriend.
Were they real?
They were real people.
Did they know?
They knew. But I'm not sure. So here's what happened.
Did they live in a different town?
At that, no. At that age,
at the summer camp,
between 3, 4, 6th grade, right in there, all the dating is somebody walks up to somebody else and goes, so and so has a crush on you, and you go, oh yeah, I guess I could be their boyfriend or girlfriend, and then they walk away. And then you never talk to that person for a few months because it's too awkward.
Ethan says in our private chat on the show here, you dirty dog, Wiggins.
I had conflicting messages because I was told by relatives of mine at holidays, they'd be like, hey, you out there, lady killer? You out there? You got a lot of girlfriends? And I was like, am I supposed to have a lot of girlfriends? I thought I was just supposed to have one at a time. I'm not really sure.
But I don't know how your family rolls.
But yeah, this says that 12 and a half for girls, 13 and a half for boys. And of course, what does dating mean? Are these conversations that you're having actively in your house?
Well, out of respect to my children.
You don't have to say who and what,
no.
But just
I've told both of my older children who are 14 and 11 that it's okay to have crushes and it's okay to have feelings about that. It's okay. Like I want to stress to them that they can talk to me about that. They can talk to their dad about it, and we're not going to make fun of them. It's not something we're just not going to tease them.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. It says number 2, your teen's relationship should be healthy. So even though you may really wish that you could play matchmaker and choose your child's partner, these words are so adult.
We are really into arranged marriages.
That isn't always how it works. It says you can't control who your teen ends up being interested in, but you can do your best to help guide them.
There have been, my son is a handsome young man, and there have been some interested parties, and I have had to teach him that while people may tease him not because it's not really about the interested party. It's just about teasing him. It's just an opportunity, amongst peers to tease. That you have to be respectful of those people. And I understand that you're getting teased about it. I understand that some people might find an opportunity to joke about it, but that those girls that like you, they have real feelings. And if you are trying to push back on the teasing, make sure that you square that pushback with where it belongs, not against the girls.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because that's one of the things I remember from being at that age is that not only would other kids tease you a little bit, but I remember adults doing that a little bit to me and treating it like it was funny. And I always felt a little weird about that because I'm like, well, I don't really know how to feel about this in the first place.
And you certainly, if you're getting teased about it, you're certainly not going to have questions and then go to people who have been teasing you about it. So that's a big no in our house.
Yeah, I just kind of didn't know what to do with it. And so I remember that enough to think, I'm going to, for my kids, at least keep the door open. And if it's funny, it's funny, but let's not really tease them.
Another really big difference between how we were raised and how our children are being raised.
Yeah, that's true. It's generational.
You're making them soft.
It's also true. Be cautious, and this one's very, very new, of course. We didn't have to deal with this when we were kids. Be cautious about virtual world dating. Things like sending private text messages and what you put in those text messages should be discussed. And think about what you're sharing on social media.
I want to talk more about this in the 2 o'clock hour.
There's so much here.
Because I have a lot to say about it. Like, for instance, I'm going to say this, and then we're going to basically have to go to break.
Yeah.
But your kid is going to be asked to send naked pictures of themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't even think you understand that they might not even be 10 when they're asked to send pictures of themselves.
It has to be addressed. It has to be addressed.
Well, and they can't even, the kids who are asking have been asked and are doing what people are doing. They have no idea.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. Which is why when I'm so militant about the phone thing, I've spoken about this a lot. We have these 2 extra phones. They will, if we are at an event or something like that, and they're going to depart from us and be in different places, we will have that. They're allowed to text their friends. There's no social media. They can't log into anything and communicate anywhere else. I will check their text messages many times before they even know that their text messages are there to check. Majorly intrusive. Deal with it. And I haven't come across anything with my kids that's too terribly damaging, but there have been things that have had to been addressed.
And look, one thing I want to add before we get to the top of the hour here is if you are a parent and you feel really weirded out by these conversations, do it anyway.
Oh my
Just do it.
That's why I want to talk about it more.
It's going to feel weird, but you got to just do it.
All right. Well, let's put a pin in that till 2 o'clock. In the next hour, Jim Carafano and Tyler Bowyer. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day, and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Tuesday, January 30th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights, and Wednesday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The U.S. strikes back again in Yemen. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. U.S. military officials confirming an airstrike destroying 4 missiles as Iran-backed Houthi rebels were preparing to target more merchant ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden.
The Houthis say they're attacking commercial shipping to support Hamas in its war with Israel. The strike follows dozens carried out by American and British armed forces in recent days, an attempt to deter the group and degrade its capabilities. But the Houthis have now expanded their campaign to to target US-owned vessels, on Monday hitting a cargo ship with a missile.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The Houthis hitting a Maltese-flagged vessel with an anti-ship missile today. Meantime, a search continues for 2 U.S. Navy SEALs missing after a raid in the Gulf of Aden, seizing Iran-made weapons from a ship believed to be heading for the Houthis. Hours after winning the Iowa caucuses, former President Trump has been back in a New York courtroom for the start of the penalty phase in writer E. Jean Carroll's defamation lawsuit, accusing him of damaging her reputation by denying sexual assault claims. Trump was found liable last year and already ordered to pay Carroll $5 million.
His lawyers say an appeal of May's verdict that the former president sexually abused Carroll means this case should not go forward. Carroll seeks $10 million in compensatory damages and more in punitive damages.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Later today, Trump plans to be in New Hampshire, where the first primary is a week from today, and where this voter says he'll probably vote for Trump, liking his policies, if not everything he says.
Sounds like he follows the Constitution, which I'm not sure most of Congress has even read. And our current president, I don't think he follows the Constitution.
The economy and immigration considered top issues as they were in Iowa. Nikki Haley, who was third in Iowa, is already in New Hampshire. Second place Ron DeSantis heads there later today after stopping first in Haley's home state, South Carolina. America is listening to Fox News.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Still windy, 16 for the high. Wind chills this afternoon, 0 to -5. Tonight, clear, cold, windy, 8 for the overnight low. Below 0 wind chills. Wednesday, sunny, a very cold start. Temperatures a little better, though, Wednesday afternoon, 35. But it's not going to feel great because the winds stay up. Clouds and a couple of snow flurries on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Keep it here for the real news. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Mark Cox, Brian Kilmeade, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, and Dana Lash on 97.1 FM Talk.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, Debt Blue is here for you. With Debt Blue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. I'm very thankful for it, and the team at Debt Blue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Mark Cox here for Hampton Manor of Wentzville. It's a new senior living community with outstanding amenities, a personal chef, and a great location just off I-70 at Lake St. Louis. Schedule your visit today. Go online to wentzvilleassistedliving.com.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's Tuesday. We're grateful that you're here with us this afternoon. Very cold in St. Louis, but it's getting warmer. It's all the way up to 12 degrees. So I guess you could take that jacket off now. We watched the Iowa caucus last night. We prepped you for it. And last night, Donald Trump comes through with a resounding 50% plus victory. Close second place close with Nikki Haley, second place to DeSantis. And now we move to New Hampshire, and we'll continue to cover it as the events continue to unfold. While all the politics are going on, there are major events happening in our world that will have a great deal of effect on who we choose in November to be the next commander-in-chief if we decide to go with more of the same. And that's why we bring our friend Jim Carafano onto the show, the senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Hey, can I ask a serious question?
You can ask any questions.
So I've heard that intro maybe 10,000 times.
Maybe.
Is that the intro to the hour, or do you do that for this? Do you do the same intro every hour of the show?
Every hour of the show. We do the same.
So
intro.
it's always the same. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right.
So that's,
I got it.
Yep.
I could do it by memory.
Well, I love that. Thank you. Every once in a while, I meet some moms who listen to us in the afternoon, and their kids can do it, and it warms my heart to hear that. So that's just the credit to how long you've been with the show and how much we value you. Especially with these issues that are taking place right now with these Houthi attacks. I need you to just define some bold-faced words for us in our textbook so that people who are following along at home and are wondering the stakes for this November election and who's going to be our commander-in-chief. Who are the Houthis? How is Yemen involved? Who does Iran support? Yep. Who's attacking whom? Lay it out for us.
Yeah, so this is a classic kind of, problem of a state that's kind of carved out by drawing a line. So Yemen is kind of on the tip of the peninsula of Saudi Arabia there. The border between them is actually not even defined. It's just open desert. And Yemen is a state that is a combination of different ethnic groups. And so the Houthis are an ethnic group, and they were basically rebelling at war with the central government. So essentially you had this war between the North and the South, just kind of like the American Civil War. And what happened was over time, the Saudis came into the world. They tried to, because it was disrupting. It was bad for them too. And the Houthis actually then turned to support from Iran. And they opened the door to Islamist groups from all over the world. So you had ISIS, Al-Qaeda, everybody else flew into Yemen. And the reason why they did that, of course, is the Iranians want to threaten and destabilize Saudi Arabia. So they're actually giving long-range missiles to the Houthis that can range into Saudi Arabia. Now, I mean, it's a very, very difficult country. It's very difficult to start a war. So it's a very inconclusive war. And of course, the Iranians are just throwing fuel on the fire because it threatens Saudi Arabia, which is their enemy. It allows them to threaten the line of communications through the Red Sea, which is very important to the world. And so it became an important surrogate for the Iranians. And what's the reason why it's kind of flared up again is when Biden came into office to try to kind of bring peace to the region, he basically cut off arms sales to the Saudis to punish them, and then he took the Houthis off the terrorist list to essentially allow them to have foreign aid and humanitarian aid and everything else. And it was a way essentially of turning to the Iranians and saying, look, we can play ball here. We can work together. And what's happened is because not only did he kind of give the Houthis the get out of jail free card, but because he allowed all this money to flow into Iran from basically not enforcing sanctions and giving them sanctions relief, giving them money for hostage and everything else, the Iranians now have a ton of money to give the Houthis. And so essentially they've turned around and weaponized that to destabilize the region. And we say, okay, so Biden, not that there's much of a difference. Biden told them to knock it off. Of course, they didn't. So we did this campaign, a bombing campaign. But then two things happened of note in the last 2 days. One is the Houthis attacked an American warship. Now, the missile was shot down, but they were aiming at an American warship. So obviously they didn't get the memo. And the second thing was we just interdicted a major arms shipment from Iran to the Houthis. So again, if the goal was to deter this from happening, none of this worked. And then you might ask, well, what do the Iranians want to get out of this? And I'll just give you the nightmare scenario just so everybody's prepared for that. So why are they creating all this havoc? Because in the end, they know they can't close the Red Sea, that the navies of the world can keep it open if they really want to. Mm-hmm. They can't drive Israel into the sea. Hamas is never going to do that. So why are they doing this? What I believe, it may not happen, but I believe it's certainly a possibility, is the Iranians will say, oh my God, look at all this turmoil and chaos in the region. We have to defend ourselves. Therefore, we are becoming a declared nuclear power. I mean, they already have the capacity to build nuclear weapons and declare themselves a nuclear power. They create this chaos. They use it as an excuse to declare themselves a nuclear power. It's right in the middle of the election. The Israelis aren't going to attack them. We're not going to attack them. And then whoever is the president's January walks in the door facing the reality of Iran's a declared nuclear state, and U.S. policy is we don't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons, and they're basically going to look at us and say, what are you going to do about it? I think that's where we're headed.
Well, I asked you to tell us what needs to happen for people to understand what was really at stake in November. That sets the table quite nicely, I would say. I've got a map up here for the people who are watching us on our stream so that they can kind of listen into when you're talking about these different areas. People aren't familiar with this part of the world. And when you look at how small these countries are and how big Iran is comparatively, Saudi Arabia is there as well. Israel is just this tiny little place to the west of these different countries. And you're talking about Iran. Every time we have these conversations weekly, it really boils down to me, like you're saying, Iran is invested in chaos, and America is supposed to be the stabilizing entity in the world, the leader in strength that says this is where we're going to be stable, and Iran is kind of pushing the buttons. And as soon as Iran is given an inch, they take a mile. Do you feel like they're speeding that up a bit, based on the election cycle timeline in the United States?
I don't have any classified information or data or anything, but that's certainly what you get from kind of reading the tea leaves. And I know a lot of Americans, why do we care? Everybody knows oil comes out of the Middle East. Let's just not buy oil from the Middle East. Well, the reason why we care is the Middle East is in the middle of everything. It's not just global energy supplies. And you may say, well, we can be energy independent. We don't need the energy. But the reality is lots of other people in the world do, and we do business with them. And if they can't get energy, eventually it is going to rebound and impact on us. It's the pathway of global finance. It's the pathway of global maritime transport. It's like 90% of the world's goods and services are moved by sea. A lot of that goes through the Red Sea, through the Straits, through the Suez Canal, and we'll direct. So a Houthi bombing a ship in the Red Sea could affect your ability to pick up your toys at Walmart. I mean, it's just the reality of it. And all the global air transport lanes go through. Almost everybody that flies to Asia, you go through Turkey or UAE or Qatar. Global migration routes go through there. Food. So, a third of the world would starve if grain couldn't be shipped through the region to Africa and other places. So it does impact us. And now we're not the world's policeman. We're not the world's babysitter. Our job's not to baby-proof the world, but we, in our own interests, want to prevent things that are bad for us. I'm not saying the Middle East has to be the land of milk and honey, but it's in our interest that the region does not blow up in war, because that will impact us. And the biggest guarantor that we have of keeping the region from spinning out of control is the fact that we have Israel, which remains both a staunch U.S. ally and the most capable military power in the region there. So the survival of Israel is actually in the interest of the United States. It's also the key to stability in the region. So we do have some stuff at stake. Is it like defending the border? I mean, we don't defend our own border, but yeah, I mean, if you wanted, if you say, well, what's the first thing I'm going to do say is defend the border? But yeah, peace and stability in the Middle East are important. And if it was done, this is the point. If it was done right, the U.S. Navy shouldn't have to be there.
Right.
Aircraft carriers shouldn't have to be there. American missiles shouldn't have to be flying. American troops shouldn't be shot at. Right? If you look after your interests correctly, you don't have to do these things. If you police your streets correctly, the police don't have to be in shootouts with the cartels.
Great analogy.
And that's why we are what we are, because we're not doing foreign policy right.
When people are watching the primary campaigns for the Republicans, the Ukraine conversation, the funding for Ukraine is the most politically talked about foreign policy concern. And it makes me wonder sometimes if it's even a distraction. How does Ukraine fit into what's going on with these attacks, with Iran, with Russia? Where are you at on Ukraine right now?
Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, I think it's headed to I already think it is. It's a stalemate. So people can argue Ukraine policy all they want. It's a stalemate. That's not going to change. There's going to be a free and independent Ukraine. The Russians aren't going to be able to conquer it. The Ukrainians are never going to be able to fight back and get all their territory. That's just the reality of where we are. I think that reality will continue. I think the U.S. will continue to support Ukraine because it's in our interest to do so. If you actually unpack the Ukraine debate, 99% of it is about the pathetic leadership from this president, how he's exploited the issue, taken advantage of it, driven up the debt, and that really held the allies to do their fair share in burden sharing. It's not really about whether we should have a free and independent Ukraine or not. We can all talk about Ukraine, but honestly, my opinion, Ukraine's on autopilot. The big place we need to watch is the Middle East, and the big thing where we're going to need policy shifts and changes is in the Middle East. What are we going to do with Iran? We just literally cannot have the policies that we're having now. So I think those are the big issues. I think even if you listened to Donald Trump in Iowa, and when he talked about the war, he said, well, we need to end this war. And it wasn't talking about abandoning Ukraine or turning things over to Russia. It was about talking about the suffering and the horror the Ukrainian people have experienced and wanting that to end. So I don't think Ukraine is the bellwether issue, to be honest.
Last question for you before we have to let you go. We're speaking with Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation. Does the domestic policy of homeland energy production dramatically affect our relationships and the makeup, the power structure, the economies of the world?
Well, what being energy independent and being a massive energy exporter do is it puts us in the driver's seat. It makes us the wedge producer. And that allows us to drive the market and drive behavior. And it also doesn't make us dependent on anybody else. And so strategically, it puts us in a much stronger position. And you know what else it does? It delivers to Americans reliable, affordable, abundant energy, which is the number one thing we need to power our economy.
Well, there's a lot of options for a Republican, at least, to get in there in November to dramatically and very quickly change the direction of this country. Iowa being done yesterday, and then hearing more about these attacks on a foreign stage, it just makes me lean in even more to what's taking place, because we have the opportunity in America to make a change in November. Hopefully we do. Thanks for being with us, Jim.
You bet. Thanks.
Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Jim Carafano, the senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Follow him on Twitter at JJ Carafano. He's great. You should definitely check him out. He will entertain you with his tweets or posts or whatever we call him on X now. Quick break. When we come back, Tyler Bowyer is going to join us. I really appreciate Tyler. He is a hard-working individual in the southwest of the country, but he's an RNC National Committeeman, and he's the Chief Operating Officer of Turning Point Action. And he's going to talk to us about those Iowa results from last night, what they mean to him. And also, I want to know about the integrity of our election system, what he feels about the Republican Party and the apparatus that we have set up. Are we doing everything we need to do to get the job done come November? Tyler Bowyer with us when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
I want to talk to you about STS Armory. Man, I feel like a woman. Did you know that they have women's classes at STS Armory? They do. So if you are looking to become more acquainted with your firearm, if you've never shot a firearm before in your life and you'd like to learn, you'd like to be good at it. In fact, you'd like to be great at it. You go to STS Armory. They'll help you with that. And you can be surrounded by other ladies who are looking to do the exact same thing. A great gift, gentlemen, for the women in your life who are looking for a little more empowerment and safety and security if they do have to travel by themselves or maybe go to work, so on and so forth. Or maybe they're at home by themselves and they want to understand how to use a firearm to protect themselves and their loved ones that are around them. STS Armory, the best of the best. You can find them in Pontoon Beach. They are on the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. But you can also find them online at sts-armory.com. You can shop there online. You can see the firearms that they carry in-house. You can also see the many, many things that they can order for you. They'll help you navigate the entire process of purchasing a firearm, of understanding safety and security needs of a firearm, providing those accessories that you need to have with it, including safes that you might want to stick around your house based on what you are trying to store. They've got everything at STS Armory, and it is the only destination for myself and for my family for any firearms questions, needs, and purchases. Find them online at sts-armory.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Mark Reardon, and Annie Fry, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Do you worry about losing your nest egg with the volatility of the stock market? Would you like to know why linking to the market is smarter and safer than owning the market? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any losses and provide more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
What I'm about to share is something we don't talk about often enough, so I'm just going to say it. We apply deodorant to our armpits every day. It's a part of the routine, right? So why do we put up with odors on other parts of our body between showers? It's time you discovered Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. I tried it, and I noticed a difference right away, everywhere. Lumi was developed by an OBGYN. It's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, and that reassurance is worth every penny. Lumi has over Over 300,000 five-star reviews and a 60-day money-back guarantee means you can try Lumi risk-free. Give Lumi whole body deodorant a try and start controlling your body odor better everywhere.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code RISKFREE and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack and ships free with code RISKFREE. LUME deodorant.com, code RISKFREE, and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. That's LUME deodorant.com, code RISKFREE.
Vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-291-1017. 800-291-1017. Again, that's 800-291-1017. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Keep the air you're paying to heat where it should be with 0% financing for 36 months on attic insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Hey, the Mark Reardon Show had to work 5 days in a row last week. We're exhausted, so we're taking the holiday off. We'll be back on Tuesday afternoon. Joe Beamer filling in Monday ahead of the Iowa caucuses.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Brad's producing.
I know. He's on the phone with Tyler. We're getting it all set up. I'm like,
but we still have to talk.
It's a good thing I like the song.
Yeah, and it's a good thing you like to talk.
Yeah.
You guys got to cut me some slack. I'm not good at doing like 6 things at once.
Anyway.
That's all right. That's why we're telling you, hey, can you turn it down?
Why? This is a question.
Okay.
From a listener. Why are some Democrats propping up Nikki? Why are some deep pocket GOP donors lifting Nikki? I think it's because they know that Trump's nomination is inevitable, which I agree with, and the media, are going to try to pressure Trump to select her as a running mate. She would then be their mole in the administration. Long shot, yes. Out of the question, no. What do you think about them apples?
Oh, wait a minute now. So, okay, we're going to dissect a lot here.
Democrat, who wants Nikki to be the president? In Iowa, it's Democrats.
Yes, it is.
And the establishment GOP donors.
Yes. So
what do they have in common? An absolute hatred for Donald Trump.
I was going to say it's just Trump that they have in common. So the only thing that's the thing about these things is that you have all this quote unquote support coming for Haley in Iowa, but so much of it was crossover Democrats that those people aren't going to vote for Haley in November if she were the nominee.
Why keep Nikki Haley in the race, though? I think it has Trump spending money. The longer the primary lasts, the better for the Democrats. There's got to be no question about that. And
for money, it does.
Which is why I feel like DeSantis needs to stay in for a little bit to make sure that the never Trumpers have a place to go other than Nikki Haley, because you don't want Donald Trump and Nikki Haley If you want Trump to be the president, and I agree, Donald Trump is going to be the nominee.
No argument.
I don't think that that's going to change.
Man, that's some strategizing you're doing there.
Well,
I like it. It makes sense.
the idea that DeSantis would stay in the race, pull from Nikki Haley, is an advantage to Donald Trump.
Yes.
And if Ron DeSantis, if Ron DeSantis wasn't in that race last night, and Nikki Haley pulls 40%, which is about what their numbers were together, I don't think that all of Ron DeSantis' support goes to Nikki Haley, but there is a portion of people who don't want Trump to be the nominee. I don't know. That's why we have Tyler Bowyer on the show today to talk to us about everything that took place last night with the Iowa caucus. He is an RNC National Committeeman, the Chief Operating Officer of Turning Point Action, and the host of the Swing State Update podcast. Tyler, welcome to the show. Thanks for being with us today. We know you're a busy guy, so thanks for the time.
I'm muted. Happy to be here, Annie. How are you doing?
That's fine. We're working it out on a Tuesday afternoon. First of all, 50% plus for Donald Trump in Iowa. Was that a surprise to you? What does that mean?
No, I mean, I think Iowa sent a clear message, which was that, this was a swing state prior to Donald Trump, and it's not any longer. And there's a lot of honor there that exists. And that's why I think it was so devastating for the governor to kind of break from that. I think it would have been a lot easier for the governor, Kim Reynolds, who, by the way, I was at the Iowa State Fair 4 years ago when she was governor, and I watched her walk up and down the Iowa State Fair. No one knew who she was. And that's part of the reason why I think that probably endorsements like that don't make a huge difference, especially in the Midwest, where people are just trying to, cash a paycheck and get to work, and you got a lot of blue collar sentiment. And Donald Trump has been the man for those people. And so it's not a huge surprise that he won by a whole lot. I think it is really surprising that, I think you mentioned this, is that even with Democrats, coming out to vote for Nikki Haley, that she came in third place.
Yeah, a lot of effort from the people who won't vote for the Republican nominee in the ticket. A lot of effort to get Nikki Haley into third place, just behind Ron DeSantis. I've said this before. I'm a Ron DeSantis fan. I hope he's the president someday. Yes. I am one of those people who can hold the idea of a Ron DeSantis presidency and a Donald Trump presidency in my head at the same time. I actually think that more people are like that than not. You got to live off of Twitter to experience that. What do you think about what happens next? Nikki Haley, her big state is New Hampshire, of course, South Carolina next, which is her home state. Ron DeSantis still being in the race, even if he's not the guy who's actually going to get the nomination, I think is a benefit to Donald Trump.
Yeah, the way I look at the presidency is this way, which is if you can't win your own neighborhood, then why are you running for office, right? And so that it just develops bigger and bigger as you go up to the national stage. And so I look at this, and there's guys that run here locally in Arizona, and they run for office and they lose their own neighborhood, their own precinct. And I'm like, what the heck were you thinking? Like, why would you think that this was a good idea if you can't even win your own neighborhood? The same kind of goes for Nikki Haley and Ron, and both of them are losing their home states to Donald Trump pretty magnificently in the polls, right? So that's an embarrassment that is impending. So it doesn't really matter what happens in small state New Hampshire, where you can spend $10,000 per voter to influence an election. We just came out of Iowa. It was probably somewhere between $1,500 to $2,000 that Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis spent individually on voters.
I saw a slide that said Trump spent $300 per vote, and I think it was DeSantis was like $1,200, and Nikki Haley was more than that. Nikki Haley got third place and spent the most per vote.
And that's just media buys. That's not including all the infrastructure that was put into place, all the other elements that were spent. So, I mean, you're talking is a significant amount of money that's spent on these things. And it's just such a silly way to do things, especially when you're looking in the mirror at Donald Trump winning effectively every poll in every state by double digits. So you just have to look at this and say, how serious are you of a person? And to your point, you have a really good point before I came on, which was, who's really behind this? Is this a Chinese push to get somebody that's more friendly to China relations, and that's a real question, right? And we know Nikki Haley's probably going to be that person. Is this a more friendly push for the Democrats? And are Democrats giving Nikki Haley money, which we know? Are Democrats re-registering to vote for Nikki Haley, which we saw just in Iowa? We have to take this is why people are so boldly America first today. And this is why I think it was a mistake for Ron DeSantis not to be embracing that throughout his campaign the entire time, because he thought he could kind of split and win, but he just kind of ended up straddling a fence that I think is going to ultimately put him in third place.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. And I think that the Ron DeSantis play seemed like a really smart one before all of the legal challenges started to make Donald Trump bigger and more successful. Like, who saw that coming? Donald Trump did. He understood that was going to be the natural course of events. And I think in my mind, I was thinking we need a plan B, because what happens if Donald Trump is in court the entire time? Well, it turns out the American people are pretty pissed off that Donald Trump is in court, and they see through what the left and what the media conjoined together have tried to do to marginalize Donald Trump. We saw last night, Rachel Maddow. I mean, I can only take so much, Rachel Maddow. Like everyone, I have to look at the time on the clip before I will even invest the brain cells into consuming it. And I already played it once on the show, so I'm not going to do it again. She's out there saying, it is their journalistic integrity that is going to keep the American people from consuming what the presumptive nominee of the GOP has to say after 50% plus of Iowa says, we choose you. Rachel Maddow and MSNBC know better than to let the American people listen to what the man has to say. I mean, what does MSNBC actually think about the American voter?
Well, and you bring up a really good point too with that, which is, I think Nikki Haley is just as guilty as the lying, mainstream media, because I mean, look, she was the ambassador to the UN. And where was Nikki Haley during this whole Russian collusion hoax, right? Like, she was nowhere to be found. She wasn't saying, hey, look, I was the ambassador to the UN. I don't think any of this is true. None of this is, I had direct communication. I was the go-between, at the UN with a lot of these issues. And I think this is all kind of a farce. She didn't do that, right? And she knew that most of what was reported by most of these mainstream was just a complete manufactured lie. And I think that was the point that Vivek brought up that was so good, and why he was so hated by the establishment, which was like, hey, I'm running against Donald Trump, but like all this stuff that was done to Donald Trump was wrong. And the mainstream media knows it. They still haven't paid for it. But look, all of the Republicans who sat on the sidelines that just allowed this to happen are held in the eyes of the voters with contempt. And there's contempt for these people. There's contempt for Nikki Haley by 60 to 70% of the Republican electorate. And the fact that she doesn't read enough of her emails to her campaign to understand that contempt is really it's just a normal, you are a normal person. I'm a normal person. If I had my entire neighborhood telling me that I sucked for what in their view was legitimate reasons, and I didn't respond to any of that.
Yeah.
I'm a bad neighbor. I shouldn't be the president of the HOA or the mayor or whatever, right? Like that is the same thing with Nikki Haley. And it's so hard for me to understand why they don't get that.
Yeah, it's hard to vote for willful ignorance, especially when it's right there in plain sight. And I understand that. The big tent argument for Nikki Haley, if the tent is getting bigger but leaving out the Republicans that are currently in it and adapting Democrats who despise Donald Trump for a whole foundation of lies that have been told that they've bought, that's a problem. We're speaking with Tyler Bowyer. He's the RNC National Committeeman, the Chief Operating Officer of Turning Point Action as well. I want to ask you about the suburban woman, and I want to predicate this with saying I'm a suburban woman, so go easy on me. I don't have any problem supporting Donald Trump. I talk to a lot of people in my circle, the soccer moms. Some of them love Donald Trump more than anybody I know, and they're hardcore about it. They love him. They can't wait to vote for him again. A lot of them, in my opinion, when it comes down to it, are going to vote for Trump. But they have I don't know why. This is something that they say. I just don't know why he has to be like that. That's kind of the summation of what they have to say about his demeanor. And I think that the suburban woman conversation keeps coming up surrounding Donald Trump. And I feel like the way the Republican Party is handling it isn't the best, because they're kind of demeaning the suburban women when they address the issue. What do you want to say to those suburban women as to why Donald Trump is our guy? He is who he is. We need him in this country. What's the message from you as an RNC National Committeeman?
Well, it's a great question. I'm married to a suburban woman, and she's a biological suburban woman, which is even better. Which is we appreciate that, right, in the world that we're in today.
Some do,
but I mean, look, I think that we're in this space now where suburban women are feeling the same way that the Black community has felt for so long by the Democrats, right? Which is, we have a lot of issues that we want to hear, and there's a lot of lip service that's given to uh, specific groups, and there's not a lot being done. And the Republican Party, I think, has this really bad habit of being transactional, right? Which is we try to go to voters and we treat voters the same way that we treat someone that is in the checkout line at Home Goods, right, or wherever. And I'll use that for my suburban women.
That's a good suburban mom reference right there. I see what you did.
Right. See what I did there? But that's not how people like to be treated. They want to know that you're hearing them out and you understand what the concerns are. And you look at some things right now on the front face of what women are most concerned about. And they're concerned about their safety. They're concerned about their children's safety. They're concerned about what's happening in schools. We know all this, right? The fact is that Donald Trump doesn't have a lot of control over those things, but your local community does. And so I think where a lot of suburban women I talk to, at least in my community, start to have a lack of faith. It's like you've got, maybe some concerns with whoever's running for president or whatever. Like you said, I'll probably hold my nose and vote for him. In fact, the data shows that they'll do that, right? So that's really not the concern. But I have less trust in the Republican Party and working all the way up to the top of ticket when you can't even handle the things that are happening in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we have Republicans who are, pushing for things that are really bad, like including, all-inclusive gender neutral bathrooms that are putting boys and girls locker rooms and all sorts of things. And so I actually think a lot of this is just relational, where it's you got to go to the door, build a relationship and say, no, I'm your guy. I'm the guy in the neighborhood that's really involved. Talk to me. By the way, here's my wife. Let me introduce you. We're normal people and we're fighting for these things. And, let me tell you how, we're going to work on this locally. I think that adds a sense of ease, but also urgency for people to realize, oh my gosh, we got much bigger problems to handle locally than who's president at the end of the day, who's the nominee for president for the Republican Party.
Yeah, it's an interesting message. I think it's a good one too. Tyler Bowyer, before we let you go, I'm actually pretty astonished as to how the average polls, really reflected the results in Iowa. And then I take that knowledge and I say, well, if it was accurate there, maybe they're going to be accurate other places. You're the host of the Swing State Update podcast. You know all about swing states. You know all about election integrity. When you look at the polls in the swing states across the country, Trump versus Biden, it looks really good for Donald Trump. Do you think that that's going to hold?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's some statistics that exist there that show that there's no reason why we should lose, given the state of the economy, the state of the feelings towards Biden. But you have to remember, we're now in the new century where data is accessible at the fingertips. So the preaching that we're doing every single day is that 3 or 4 states are won or lost on the margins based off of Democrats' availability to go chase ballots and their ability to read the data quickly. And so where we're behind on our side is, if this is 1992, to your question, I have no concern we're going to win this election because there's no technological way for me to identify who the low propensity or less likely voters are who can be peer pressured into voting. And that's effectively what's happening. Everybody remembers the great Rush Limbaugh constantly talking about low information voters, low information voters, low information. And he actually helped plant that into our heads of why that's important. And it actually was less important when he talks about it. Today, low information voters can be peer pressured at the door, can be taken advantage of. And this is the reason why I believe Democrats take advantage of minority communities as much as they do, is because they're less likely to vote as a bloc. And because of that, all they have to do is put bodies to doors to go basically ballot chase or ballot harvest in whatever state they're in to make up the disparity of, how much people just don't like, Joe Biden right now.
Yeah.
And that is the big concern. That's what we have to do.
Republicans have to offer an alternative. So they've got to be on the ground, at the doors, making those efforts. Tell me real quick before I let you go, Tyler, what if I've got Jane Doe listening right now and she's very passionate, she's a very high information voter. What does she do physically? What website does she go to? Who does she go talk to be a part of the solution so that she can knock on 10 doors?
Yeah, I mean, look, because of the Electoral College, the future of the country hinges on basically 6 states: Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Michigan. And so if you're not in one of those states, we need your help, particularly in October of this year, to take time off. Start taking time off now. Plan ahead. Take your vacation to go to Arizona. It'll be beautiful, I promise, in October and November. Wisconsin's always beautiful around that time. It gets a little chilly, but it's beautiful. We need your help, and you can go to Turning Point Action to get that help. So tpaction.com/chase, or just go to our website, tpaction.com. We actually today are starting to collect names. We are going to have full-time bodies and entire teams. We're talking hundreds of full-time people to aid volunteers coming in out of state to make sure that we win those states. Because if we don't win those, then there's no way that we're going to win the presidency.
Man.
And that's the margins that we have to win, that we have to compete with the left.
Tyler, I'm looking at my team in the studio here, and I'm thinking of an October trip to Arizona where we cover it and we take a coalition from Missouri.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Fun.
Yeah.
Tyler, if you'll have us, we would love to do something like that.
And I'll break it down real easy. How we're working with volunteers is like, hey, if you can help us chase 5 to 10 ballots per day, we will take you. We will give you shelter, and we will give you food. We'll make sure you're watered, and we'll send you out and get that done.
With Ryan Wiggins here, we just throw the water on him. So.
And as long as there's gummy bears, I'm fine.
Gummy bears and water. That's all you need. Tyler, I love
We'll do a trail of gummy bears to every door for you. So that's it.
Well, there's another one. There's another one.
The content creates itself. That's fantastic. Well, Tyler, I'm writing this stuff down. I want to see if we can plan something, and if it has to be on our own dime, we'll figure out maybe how to make that happen. But I'd love to see how that operation works, to cast a light on it and be a part of the solution. And I know for people people tell me that's the time, they're like, Annie, what can I do? The starting point, go to Turning Point Action and learn what they've laid out the groundwork for you. You've done a great job, Tyler. I always appreciate when you come on the show. We hope you'll come back and continue to motivate us to get involved.
Anytime. And thank you always for having me.
Of course. We'll talk to you soon. Tyler Bowyer from Turning Point Action. Great to have him on the show. And check out his podcast as well. He's the host of the Swing State Update podcast. Ryan, you know as well as anybody that those swing states, the 6 states that he listed, it's all there. Illinois is not going for Trump.
We get it.
Missouri is not going for Biden.
That is exciting. When I hear him saying, we have the apparatus already set up, I get excited because that is what we need. That is exactly what we were missing in the last couple elections that Democrats had that we did not have.
And we can't start talking about it in September and October.
No, right now.
It has to be now. We should do it.
If you were listening to that and you got as thrilled as I did, or even a portion of it, and you went, oh man, that's really good, consider doing something with it. I don't know what that is for you, but consider looking into it, seeing how you might be able to be involved.
Get 3-4 couples together.
That would be a blast.
And go to Arizona in October? Are you kidding me?
We'll go to Pennsylvania for you.
What?
I don't know. if you wanted to go to Arizona and not Pennsylvania,
I'm a big fan of going always south. I was going to say souther.
I am too, but I just want people to go to whatever state it is, whatever reason you have, if you can be involved in it. I think this is a great way to get involved this year.
I got family in Michigan. I don't know.
I'm fine with that too. Mackinac Island.
Let's see if we can get our boss Steve to send us to all 6 states. We're going to be off from the studio from July through October. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. We're far past our out time here, so we're going to pause for just a second. When we come back, we'll wrap up this hour with some responses to the YouTube live chat poll. Are we experiencing deja vu Trump? Yes, it's Trump 2016. Yes, it's Trump 2020. Or no, this is something different. You tell us what you think on the YouTube live chat poll, and we'll be back in just a minute with more. Don't go away.
Point blank, close range, that feed. If it goes a million, that's me. I was getting moolah, baby. Havana, ooh, nah, nah. Half of my heart is in Havana, ooh, nah, nah. He took me back to East Atlanta, nah, nah.
Air Comfort Service knows what it's like when the furnace ain't cutting it. And they've had a few of those phone calls over the past week or so as temperatures have plummeted here in St. Louis. Hopefully that's not you. But here's a little reminder to punch this number into your phone. Just put it in there as Air Comfort Service because these are the people who you're going to trust. I promise you. You're going to love the fact that Air Comfort Service are the ones who show up at your door when that emergency sets in, or a loved one. If you have not, make sure you're checking on your loved ones to make sure that their furnace is in good operating order, their houses are heating, the power is still on, all of that. Here's the number to call, 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Air Comfort Service will guide you through everything you need to know for that emergency service. They'll get to you as fast as they can, and you can trust the response that they give you, the suggestions, the options that they give you. They will treat you right. They have done that for my family multiple times, which is why I recommend them as a customer myself to you. 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
If you're facing $10,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, there are programs available that can consolidate those debts into one single reduced payment you can afford if you qualify. Accredited Debt Relief is on a mission to help you become debt-free in just 24 to 48 months. They've helped over 300,000 qualified consumers. Hardworking Americans just like you pay off more than $3 billion in debt, earning them an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Accredited Debt Relief will tailor the program to fit your specific budget and financial situation. So call Accredited Debt Relief now for your free no-obligation savings estimate and let them help you take control of your financial destiny.
Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. That's 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. Program and services not available in all states.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Are we experiencing deja vu Trump? For better or worse, what do you think? Yes, Trump 2016. Yes, Trump 2020. Or no, it's not deja vu Trump. This is a new Trump. Andy Fry YouTube live chat poll. That's the subject today. Let us know what you think. It's 1:53. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
If you
comment here on our Facebook page. We stream live on Facebook as well as YouTube every day. And it's from David. I think this might have been the David that called earlier. I'm a retired United States Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, 44 years of service. David, thank you for your service. And understand January 6th better than you can imagine. On the Iowa caucus, you're not taking into account of the demographics of the population that makes it a Trump area and assuming that will be the same across the country. Why are you so against Nikki Haley? Is it because you are so MAGA versus traditional Republican? Trump started the January 6th event when he went down and stirred up that crowd on Proud Boys. No, a Republican must replacement for the Dems. I don't know what that last sentence means. Ryan, is it because I am so MAGA versus a traditional Republican?
The problem with Annie is that she doesn't really approach things fairly. She right before, and you guys don't see this, but right before the mics turn on, she yells MAGA. Mm-hmm. And then she just goes, ah! And then the mics come on and she goes, welcome to the Annie Fry Show. And she's very composed. That's why she's a professional broadcaster.
She just has to get it out.
I'm just telling you what you don't see.
Yeah.
So there's a tremendous bias there toward MAGA coming into any segment because she does it before every segment, including this one just now.
One of the main reasons you should watch the YouTube live.
Yeah. Whenever you see that fire and that scream, that's the end of MAGA.
You're ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you do it to yourself.
I'm not usually accused of being too MAGA.
This is true. I was to say earlier in the show you were accused of being a rhino.
Yeah. Was I?
Yes.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that one
No,
either.
that hurts my feelings.
Yeah. Well, now you know.
That's not true. I don't even have feelings.
Now that person who said that about Rhino knows the truth.
I just am 100% trying to be a realist on the situation. Trump's going to be the nominee. I don't know that there are many people in at least St. Louis media who have spoken more highly of Ron DeSantis than I have in the midst of people who are super MAGA. But like I said with Tyler Bowyer, I like them both. Nikki Haley, I don't hate her. She's just not my favorite. I guess that's a crime. For some.
Stop being fair on the air.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published taxpayer bill of rights which says you have the right to retain legal representation because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The bagel loan is available for you when you start the process by texting 314-324-4440, or you can call Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, also at 314-324-4440. You can call and text that number because it's Stewie's direct line to his cell phone, probably in his pocket right now. If you're looking to purchase a home, you cannot pass up the opportunity to see how the bagel loan can help you. If you are working with a realtor and you found the house that you want to make your home and you want to put in an offer and you're just ready to rock and roll, don't just default to the one person who may be recommended to you because that's who they work with on a regular basis to get your mortgage. Double check the work. Go to Stewie and see if Stewie can get you a better deal. It's a huge commitment to get a mortgage, like the biggest loan you're probably ever going to take. Don't pass up the opportunity to pay nothing in closing costs by using the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage. Reach out to him at 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, and MLS number 226715.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Strike in Yemen. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Military officials say they have taken out a location that Iran-backed rebels have been using to launch attacks on Western ships.
What's specific to today's strike is that the U.S. took out 4 Iranian-made anti-ship ballistic missiles to be used by the Houthis, which presented an imminent threat to both merchant and U.S. Navy ships in the region. And it comes in direct response to the Houthi missile yesterday that struck a U.S.-owned commercial shipping vessel, which fortunately reported no casualties and only minor damage.
Fox's Griff Jenkins at the Pentagon. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby says, we're not looking to expand this, saying the Houthis have a choice, which is to stop the attacks, which he called reckless. This as Iran says it's launched attacks in Pakistan, targeting what it described as bases for a militant group, though the reports of the attack soon disappeared. Less than a day ago, Iran targeted Iraq and Syria. Senator Bernie Sanders plans to force a vote on a measure that would freeze military aid to Israel.
The Vermont Independent plans to move forward on the vote if the State Department does not spell out potential human rights abuses in Gaza. Senator Sanders unveiled the plan last week to stop what he has called disproportionate military actions by Israel since the beginning of the Hamas war. While Senator Sanders can force a vote in his chamber, it will likely go no further. Getting House passage and a presidential signature to cut Israel off is unlikely. The senator says he just wants to know how aid is being used.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Just hours after his victory in the Iowa caucuses, former President Trump was back in a New York City courtroom where a 9-person jury has been selected in the defamation trial where writer E. Jean Carroll filed against him. Carroll claims Trump defamed her after she accused him of sexual assault. America is listening to Fox News.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic. Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly to mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Still windy, 16 for the high. Wind chills this afternoon, 0 to -5. Tonight, clear, cold, windy, 8 for the overnight low. Below 0 wind chills. Wednesday, sunny, a very cold start. Temperatures a little better, though, Wednesday afternoon, 35. But it's not going to feel great because the winds stay up. Clouds and a couple of snow flurries on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Ring in the new year with the ultimate timeless gift, a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Whether you're ready to pop the question or celebrating a lifetime of love in 2024, Diamonds Direct can make this New Year's one to remember forever. Diamonds Direct is the area's destination for exquisite diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and our nationwide price guarantee ensures you'll get the best value, period. To showcase that spectacular diamond, we have literally thousands of designer settings from all the top names like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, A. Jaffe, and many more. And our experts will guide you every step of the way with the education you want and the respect you deserve. Engagement rings, wedding bands, eternity bands, fashion rings. At Diamonds Direct, we specialize in the ultimate symbol of love, and we welcome the opportunity to celebrate with you. So start the new year with some new excitement, new hope, and some new bling. Diamonds Direct at Olive and 270, official partner of the St. Louis Blues, and proud to call the Gateway City home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
The cost of education can be a burden. That's why Missouri's Most 529 program was created, to help folks save for their loved one's education. Contributions to Most 529 accounts grow tax-free and are eligible for a state tax deduction of up to $16,000. Families can save for K-12, college, trade, or technical schools. To learn more, go to MissouriMost.org or type Most 529 into your search engine.
Sponsored by the Missouri State Treasurer's Office.
How would you like to make no mortgage payments for 2 months? Are you tired of making minimum payments on high-interest credit cards? Is student loan repayment giving you the blues? Your home equity is at an all-time high. Use that equity to save hundreds every month. Call 314-567-GOLD now and give yourself a payment break. That's 314-567-GOLD. Or visit goldenoaklending.com. NMLS 114937.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick Weight Loss Hypnosis Seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds.
And we feel great.
Seminars Tuesday, January 30th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights, and Wednesday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. Weight Loss Seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. Ends 2/10/24. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
STL Today is named Under Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm. We'll continue to make a difference, one case at a time.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Shows that make a difference in your day.
Your home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
The fact that it's so late in the game now, it would be very difficult for another candidate to get in and try to get somewhere against Biden. And they've stacked the deck in terms of, he's really not doing anything here. He's down playing New Hampshire. Biden is. He's trying to get it started in South Carolina for his reelection bid there, where he did, which was what saved him and revived his campaign 4 years ago. So they've done everything they can to make it difficult for a challenger, and now even more so because it's so late in the game. So I think Democrats are rightfully worried, but they had a chance, some of them did, to do something about it and didn't.
Likelihood that Joe Biden isn't the guy on the November ballot. What do you think, Ryan?
I think there's a possibility, but the likelihood is that he's the guy. I've always said that. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to say 90% that he's the guy.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to say it's probably like 70% that he isn't.
Ooh, fight.
Oh, let's go, guy who predicted DeSantis to win Iowa.
They come in second place. I don't see it. I don't think he's going to be it. I think they know that he's not going to be it. I think that Joe Biden, his utter lack of campaigning right now, does anybody call what he's doing right now campaigning?
He might.
Did you see him? Did you see the video of him getting off of Marine One? It's been circling lately.
I think so.
And he's standing there with Jill. Jill walks away. Like, she seems to acknowledge the two Marines that are standing right there. She walks away. And I mean, the comment, I don't think I retweeted it or shared it because the person who had shared the video was making some drastic assumptions. And when I read the tweet first, I was like, it's not going to be that bad. And then I watched it and I'm like, that seems about accurate. He does not look like he has a clue what's going on. And the beast, the car that he's supposed to get in, is right there. So there is a way that someone looks. I'm sure that I've done this before. I've been handled before by people where I've got to go from point A to point B, and maybe I'm helping or speaking at another event, and it's not, if there's a station event going on, I generally know we do this, we do that, I need to be here, then I need to do that, and I'm responsible for myself. But I've also gone and spoken at other events or been involved at other events where somebody is with me and they take me from point A to point B, and I might not exactly know the specific location where I'm going to go, so I'll ask a question. I might look around. If you couldn't hear what we were discussing, it might look like I was confused. They look worse when Joe Biden does it.
And also, you got to remember, there are untold legions of people whose job it is to constantly tell him what he's doing and where he's going.
And would be the same if it were Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley or Gavin Newsom. They would all be handled by people. But
Yeah,
he doesn't look like he understands how he got where he is, let alone where he needs to go.
Yeah, and my point is that there was probably somebody standing right at the exit of that plane telling him, Mr. President, here's what you're going to do. You're going to walk out, you're going to say hello to one or two of the Marines standing there, and then you're going to go to the car or whatever he was supposed to do. So when he looks lost, it's in the context of somebody having probably just told him what he's supposed to do.
I just don't think he can handle the pressure of a campaign. It doesn't look like he can handle the pressure of the presidency. And I think the thing that's the hardest for me to accept is that the Democrats feel so incredibly hopeless putting somebody else in that they're like, we have to go with him. He's the best we got.
Yeah, I just think even if they have some dark horse candidate that they're preparing behind the scenes that we don't even know about yet or whatever, or if Gavin Newsom or anybody.
Katy Perry.
Let's say it's Katy Perry for
Dark
some
horse
reason.
Candidates.
Ah, I see. So let's say it's pop star Katy Perry. Nobody knows that that's going to happen.
She'd get votes.
That scares me.
More than Joe Biden?
No.
Ironic.
There is the one fact that I keep coming back to is that they would have to have buy-in from Joe Biden to do this.
No.
Or
I don't think so.
Or he would have to have a medical incident that was planned. One of those two things, and both of those are unlikely to me.
I just feel like the 25th Amendment is lurking. Nancy Pelosi was rearranging the furniture around the 25th Amendment when Donald Trump was still the president, but Joe Biden had won the next term, and they were refining it in the process of it. I think that is there, and I don't necessarily think it's there to utilize. I think it would be catastrophic to the Democrats to utilize that at this point in the process, but what a threat.
I just don't think even if they threatened Joe Biden, look, we're going to remove you. You have to do this either with us or without us. He would choose without. And he would say...
And it wouldn't stop a thing.
See, to interruption. Scooter says this alternate candidate stuff is macabre. Why not just say you hope Biden dies? Scooter, that is so disingenuous. And you're so presumptive on that type of a comment because I'm never saying that I think he's going to die. What I'm saying is he can't hang, and you know it. Everybody on the left knows it. You just hate Donald Trump so much that you'd rather have a patient of his caliber be the president of the United States because you literally think that anything is better than Donald Trump. never said that I think he's going to die. And it's ironic to me that the same people who want to like needle and poke and suggest like how terrible of you to suggest that the president of his age is going to die in office, those are the same people who will then in the second breath remind you that Donald Trump is not that far behind Joe Biden in age. So you do turnabout is fair play, but yet you have to slap the people around on the other side of the issue so that you push them down where they belong beneath you. It's obnoxious. He can't handle the job. And to me, it seems very, very practical to think that the left, the people that are the powers that be in the Democrat Party, and I believe that there are powers that be in the Republican Party. I don't think this is unique to the left. I think the powers that be in the Democrat Party, the second that they have decided, which I think that maybe they are already there, that Joe Biden cannot win in November, they can threaten him with the 25th Amendment and say, here's how this is going to go. You want a nice exit? You want to be able to get off of this stage? We'll show you where and how. You want to be able to get off of this stage with your integrity intact? This is how it's going to go. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to pardon your son or anybody else who you want to. On the way out, we will carefully walk you out of the situation, but you are going to walk out. Otherwise, we're going to put the information that we know about you out there it's going to leak. And people are going to know, or we're going to run the 25th Amendment on you. And I don't think that if they engaged in the 25th Amendment today, that it would really be that shocking for the American people to consume.
Also, none of us
knock it off, Scooter.
None of us want him to die.
No.
We want him to be the candidate.
We're all, not just because we're nice people, although we're very, very nice people.
Yes.
We're very nice people. We want him to be the guy running against whoever the Republican is, probably Trump. We want that. It's the best possible outcome for a possible GOP victory. So why would we want that? Nobody's even suggesting that. But Annie's right. Anybody with an eye or ear can see that the man is not functioning at 100%.
That's
right?
a high number to suggest that he's not functioning at.
Anybody can see he's barely able to do the normal stuff of life.
If Donald Trump didn't know where his defense secretary was and his defense secretary was in the hospital with cancer,
scandal.
Holy smokes, what we would be dealing with right now. And it would all and only be a Donald Trump scandal. It wouldn't be the fact that Lloyd Austin chose not to say anything, and Lloyd Austin chose not to make it information that the Biden administration, the people running the show, the president himself, did not know that was happening. It would be, if that were Trump, it would be 100% about Donald Trump. And you hate Trump so much that you're willing to sustain the illusion of a Biden second term, or possibly a Biden second term, because you detest Donald Trump so much. I still don't understand what it is about Donald Trump that his protruded rationale and sensibility into an abject, contagious hatred. I don't know what it is about Donald Trump that causes people to be so irrational in their hate.
Yeah, and the Hollywood left even knows this. I mean, these are the people who are crazy. It's the same guy who said, Seth MacFarlane, just recently we talked about it. He said that he made a Hitler comparison to Trump, and in the same breath talked about, but just keep in mind, we're not really voting for a candidate, you're voting for a team. Well, why do you think he's saying that? Because he knows exactly what we're talking about right now, which is that Joe Biden is not capable of doing that job. And then all of the stuff about the team, like Lloyd Austin, like all the team stuff, we can go into that separately. But he is acknowledging that you're not voting for that candidate because he knows that candidate really can't carry water right now.
Well, the thing about it to me is just so disingenuous is because you'll hear all these people say, well, Biden's as healthy as anyone. He's fit and he can do the job. And these were the same people that when Donald Trump was president were losing their minds over Donald Trump picking up a bottle of water with two hands and drinking it kind of awkwardly. They're like, this is early signs of dementia. This is that. Oh, he shuffled down a ramp a little slower. Biden fell at the exact same event that Trump walked slowly down a ramp. And nobody is saying a word about it on the mainstream left. Not a word. They're like, it's fine. He's fine. He's super healthy. He's good to go. And a medical event doesn't necessarily mean that Joe Biden dies. What it means is Joe Biden has an event that prevents him from completing the task of president.
I want to, sorry, go ahead, finish. I didn't know.
No, that's it. You can go.
Well, Scooter followed up on his comment. And he says, when people talk about Biden not being able to run for re-election because of his health, I think they're implying death. Well, Scoot, you wrong. And this is what the left does. And, not to call Scooter out, but I'm calling Scooter out en masse based on the way that the left that is so invested, the reply guys, the ones who show up to fight online with what I believe to be, and Scoot, maybe I'm wrong too, predetermined set of punches that you're going to throw. The first thing you do is the worst thing that you can do, which is to accuse the people on this show of willing Joe Biden's death. Because we're looking at the dude and we don't think he's up for the task. He's not up for the task right now. He's certainly not going to be up for the task in November. That's the truth of the matter. But the fighting words that come from the left is to go full-on sensational, full-on emotional, and accuse you of something that is super ugly, so then we stop talking about the fact that Biden is an incompetent president. That's the point that we're trying to talk about. But what the left does is they come in and they sensationalize everything. They get everybody all hot and bothered. They get radio show hosts worked up, defending themselves, and then you're not talking about the issue. So Scooter comes back in and he says, guys, when you say this is what it makes me think. Well, then you say what you think first. It sounds like we're saying that you want Joe Biden to die or whatever. But no, you're accusing people of willing death on other people because what you're trying to do is destabilize the situation so that we don't talk about the issues. And Scoot, since we got 3 hours to fill here and you're such a loyal listener and commenter on this show, I want to pull that out for people to see because it's important for folks to understand how the conversation is manipulated when we start talking about issues. The closer you get to the truth and the closer you get to exposing what is real about how our lives are being affected by an absent president because he's not up to the job. You don't know who's making the decisions for this administration. You didn't elect those people. Joe Biden is 100% being managed in his presidency. Everybody knows it. The people who aren't criticizing it are okay with the managers. But that's not how this country works. In a democratic republic, we send people to office who work for us. And in a democratic republic, we get to send them back home. You don't get to send the bureaucrats back home because they stay. And if you've got a president who is serving because the people sent him there and he is incapable of serving, I think it is absolutely within the rational line of thought that the 25th Amendment would be in play. That's why it exists. And my thought on why the president will not be the nominee is because I don't think any president would want to go through the process, the humiliating, degrading process of being told on a world stage, you are incapable of mentally and physically doing this job. And I think that Jill Biden, the enabler that is behind this entire process, would regret the embarrassment that would go along with being the first lady to that scenario. And I think that they would collectively together say, let's put everything on the table here and see what's most important to us. And if that means stepping out of this race, then maybe they'll do that. Nowhere in there did I mention the death of the president of the United States. And for disingenuous people who are trying to win reply guy battles on the internet, you can get caught up in that, but it's pretty fruitless. And the reason to put it out here right now is because I know that if you have been on Twitter, if you've been on the internet and you've had these discussions with people, and sometimes it happens in real life as well, the distraction from the point, as soon as they go into an emotionally charged accusation about you, that's when you know that you're over the target, because that's when they start attacking you and trying to distract from the point. I feel very much so over the target. And I will also say this, that if I am wrong and Ryan Wiggins is right, and in November it's anybody versus Joe Biden, there is no greater gift to the Republicans and specifically to Donald Trump. He's the one who Donald Trump, in my opinion, can beat. So I pray on my knees that Donald Trump is facing off Joe Biden. I just don't think it's realistic because I think he's that detrimental for the country.
You want to wager on it? Scooter's Coffee.
I'll bet your job.
Ooh, okay. But I get a coffee.
On the way out. You can get the coffee, actually.
Oh,
since you'll have
really?
time,
Well,
yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll bet a coffee.
Okay. Let's talk about like size. You want to go like super grande here. This is a pretty big one.
No, that's Starbucks.
Not that
How about
size. I mean
just-
like the biggest size they have.
You know, like this is why I like scooters.
Okay.
It's just a large.
Actually, that's very true.
Yes, yeah. It's
It makes
a large.
it a lot easier.
You say a large, non-fat, sugar-free, vanilla latte with an extra shot.
You can say that. All I'm
Or-
asking is that once I'm right,
A large chai latte.
that you go through the drive-through and you don't say large. You say, I want the biggest chai that you have, and leave that open to them.
Okay.
Like if they find a bucket and they can fill it with chai, I'd take that.
Put a Scooter's Coffee on it.
Fair.
That would be amazing. Because I could see Annie showing up with a 5-gallon bucket of chai.
Bucket
for you.
of chai. And you drink the whole thing. And that's loaded with sugar.
I would, but I want to make sure the bucket's clean too. I want that guarantee.
You
that
won't
it's
know
not
because it'll be
just the
full
bucket.
of coffee.
That's true. Well, I just want them to tell me that it was clean.
You are the king of the probably 60-second rule.
Yeah, but you got to drive that thing here. I'm not drinking it out of the bucket right when you order it.
I don't think you're going to be drinking it. Let's take a quick break. If you want to join us and get into this feisty chat that we have here on the YouTube Live, go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Vote in today's YouTube Live chat poll. Let's discuss this when we come back. Plus, we're going to get back to a little hangover from the Wiggins America, essential teen dating rules and how to discuss them with your kids. Ryan's got that for us. The YouTube Live chat poll. Are we experiencing deja vu Trump? Yes, Trump 2016. Yes, Trump 2020. No, it's not deja vu at all. Let us know what you think. We'll be back in a minute.
Say what you need to say.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
Say what you need to say. 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 Walking like a one-man army.
Well, when I talked to you about the Protecting Your Retirement educational event at the Frontenac Hilton January 30th, which is a Tuesday, I want you to know that sitting down for free, it costs you literally nothing, with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw and Tammy Kershaw. They're just going to talk to you that night. I think they're usually there for maybe 45 minutes. They don't suck up all the time in your evening. You go in there, you register yourself so that they make sure that they have, I think they give you like a notepad and a pen or something like that. So they have a spot reserved for you because there's limited seating. You get to listen to how they provide worry-free retirements for people exactly like you who are right there on the doorstep of retirement, and you got a little anxiety about it because you've been working hard for it. You just want to make sure that you've done everything you can. Don't leave this on the table. Don't miss out on the opportunity to hear what Thomas Helbig and his team at the Retirement Advisory Group have to say about protecting your retirement. If you'd like to know why their clients have never lost a penny with all the market losses this year, you can go to this event and they'll tell you. You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you do not want to miss this event. Tuesday, January 30th, it's at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. I'm going to be there at 6 to 6:30, a little bit after 6:30, and then I head out and let you to it with Thomas Helbig. Mark Cox will be there, Mark Reardon as well. Reserve your spot at 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. Tell them Annie sent you. RetirementKey.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
So, you got a new gadget over the holidays. Don't forget to listen to your favorite station on Odyssey. Unwrapped a new Amazon Echo or Google Home? Be sure to tell your smart speaker to play your favorite station. Received a new Sonos speaker? Check on Odyssey on the Sonos app for access to hundreds of stations. Got a new phone? Don't forget that the Odyssey app is the only way you can jump to your favorite show with Rewind. No matter what you received this year, listen to your favorites with Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever. This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Are we experiencing deja vu Trump? If you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, come say hi to us there and join the conversation, but also vote. The live chat poll is located next to the live broadcast in the chat right there every single day. And people are weighing in. Let's take, for instance, Scott said, yes, this will be 2016 again. I voted Democrat my whole career on the railroad, but after these last few years, Trump has my votes. Democrats have lost their way. Oh, well, Scott, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Bob said it. I voted no on the poll. Trump is still strong, but seems toned down and more measured in his speeches. I also agree with that. Dan says, I voted no. The Democrats know they're up against a wall now. The Republicans need to make sure they do everything possible to secure a legit vote. Holding the House and getting the Senate would be huge. What do you think, Ryan?
I'm going to vote no on this poll because I don't think that we're really seeing Trump 2016 or 2020. I think we're seeing what looks like a Trump who's trying to be disciplined, and he won't be, but he's trying. I think what we're going to see is a lot of what we saw last night, which is this, I don't know, kinder, gentler, but definitely more moderate, looks like the adult in the room, if you want to use that phrase, the person who's trying to bring people together, the country together. Fantastic tone. He's going to try to do that. He's Donald Trump, so he won't be completely successful at doing that, but I do think that that's what he's going to try to do.
Listen to him try to compliment his competitors.
I want to congratulate Ron and Nikki for having a good time together. We're all having a good time together.
That is a Donald Trump compliment. That is an active choice. It feels as though he was like, man, I do not know what to do with this uncharted territory. But he does. He's done it before. Every single person. I'm trying to think of somebody who, in the 2016 campaign, Line 10, Little Marco, I don't know, maybe Jeb.
Yeah.
Low energy Jeb.
He makes good with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And he has said previously, I think it was in the last town hall he did the week before Iowa. He's like, yeah, I'll make amends. And then he said something about Chris Christie. He's like, I'm liking Chris Christie even more because Chris Christie, like 45 minutes earlier, suspended his campaign.
Yeah, it's funny. It was very funny. And he's doing what he needs to do. And I don't know whether this is consultants who've gotten to him or if he has made a decision. I don't really care which one it is. But this is, you guys are right, because I've heard you talking about this at the beginning of the show too. This is the kind of thing that he needs to do to make people go, you know what? He's still Donald Trump, but maybe he is turning a new leaf and trying something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it's a good attempt.
I looked at this and I said, I think we're going to see, in my brain, I'm like, okay, are we going to Trump deja vu? I think we're going to see Trump 2020 deja vu from the media. The media is going to respond to him the same way they did, maybe more intensely that they did in 2022. But Donald Trump, to me, looks more like the 2016 Donald Trump, because what I remember about him was he wasn't, like, there wasn't as much anger in him in 2016. He would say things about people and he would do it, but there was a jovial aspect to it. And like you on that clip you just played, there's a little bit of a giggle and a laugh and something that isn't like coming from the anger of having the media punch you for 4 years straight while you were president trying to do the best job you can, and everything that they did was getting in your way. He's mellowed out and he's decided that he's okay with what they're going to do to him or what they're trying to do to him, and he's just going to have fun on this ride. And that's what 2016 Trump was like to me. So I think Trump 2016, and he won that year.
We know so much more now than we did in 2016 and then what we did in 2020. The disarray that was thrust upon the American people, the world really, but the American people certainly in an election year, I don't know, it looks something like this. This is from 37 minutes ago on Fox News. Attendees at the World Economic Forum in Davos will discuss the prospect of a virus far more potent than COVID being unleashed across the world. Here we go. The hypothetical virus, dubbed by the World Health Organization as Disease X, I don't know if they ran that by Elon, has not yet been formed, but scientists and attendees at the global confab say they will be chatting about the potential pathogen so that they can prepare properly should it ever strike. This is odd. I don't like it. Quote, with fresh warnings from the WHO that an unknown disease X could result in 20 times more fatalities than the coronavirus pandemic. What novel efforts are needed to prepare healthcare systems for the multiple challenges ahead? A page detailing the meetings states on the WF website. So, I don't know. Who do you want in charge? Donald Trump's weakest point of his presidency was the way he handled COVID, but what do you think would have happened if Joe Biden would have been the president or Hillary Clinton would have been the president when all of that was taking place?
Well, I think that it wouldn't have been magnified as much, to be honest with you. I think that it would have been a thing, but I just don't think there would have been a death clock on CNN and stuff like that would have thrown people into a panic.
I disagree. I think it would have been completely the other way around because they would have used it to control people without. I mean, Donald Trump, in his presidency, pushed back against the establishment almost every opportunity he got. But COVID was such a big deal, and it was a really, really scary thing at first. I remember looking at it and just kind of jaw drop, like, I don't know what happens next. The president didn't have the experience or the apparatus in place to handle that, and he reacted the way a lot of us did, and he put his faith in people who took advantage of it. I think that Donald Trump, should he have gotten, I just wish that he would have gotten the second term so that he could have course corrected Because where his term ended, it was, 2020 was when he was done. And that we spent that year dealing with COVID. We didn't get to see what Trump would have done with the knowledge that was provided with the vaccine and everything. We did not get to see how Donald Trump would have handled that a year out from when the first onset was in the United States. It may not have seemed to be more amplified because the media would have handled it differently. But I 100% know that the stretch that they would have made through government means and the support that would have been given through media coordination would have been drastically more should there have been a big government Democrat in charge when they were.
They either knew ahead of time that they could use something like that, or they realized as it was happening that they could use this thing to expand government's tentacles into more aspects of your life, which is why when you bring up Davos, you go, yeah, these people, these are some of either the most self-unaware people in the world, or they know exactly what they're doing, one of the two, because when they say these things, you have to go, do you not hear yourself? Do you not understand the way people are going to take what you're saying if you have any good intention at all, which makes you think they probably don't?
Yeah. I feel like the one time where Donald Trump sidestepped leading and he leaned into the apparatus was COVID. And that was his biggest mistake. But to some extent, while I think it's good, and I wish he would say more about mistakes that he made and how he would do them differently with COVID, with the vaccine and everything, I do understand that in the moment in time, you make decisions because a leader has to make decisions. And sometimes they're wrong, but you have to make choices and decisions. I do understand why he made some of them. I think that a real wise leader would also be very willing to say, I made the decision because I was the person who had to make the decision, and I believe now that I made the wrong decision. I think the hindsight is very, very wise and important to address. All right, let's take a quick break. Go get your votes in. We're going to give the results of today's YouTube live chat poll at the end of the next segment, so you're going to want to be here. I want to know what you think, though. Are we experiencing deja vu Trump 2016, Trump 2020, or no, we're not? Katie says, listening to his speech last night, knowing how much Americans need anyone but Biden, we are seeing deja vu Trump 2016, and I am here for it. Russell says, yes, it's deja vu all over again. Left media is going bananas with the Trump win. Refused to air Trump's speech. Shocker that they dictate what the viewer needs to watch based on their opinion. And Mark says, Trump 2016. I think Vivek should be a great VP, if not part of the admin, and I hope DeSantis and Haley join the Trump train. The pendulum is going to swing hard. Stick around and give us your thoughts when we come back. The finishing of Wiggins America on those teen dating rules and how to discuss them with your teens. We'll wrap that up and the poll when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Half my life's in books, written pages, live and learn from fools and from sages. You know it's true.
TheDiamondShop.net. You shopping for some fine jewelry? It's January 16th, which means we're a month out from Valentine's Day already. It's moving fast, isn't it? If you're looking for something specific, let's talk about some options. Beautiful tennis bracelets. If you're looking for a nice necklace, a pendant, if you're looking for diamond stud earrings, even a starter set, you go to the Diamond Shop. They're going to walk you through the process of getting the perfect piece for yourself or for somebody you love, somebody you cherish. And you're going to get something that they can cherish forever. I want to remind you, if you compare the costs of buying flowers, having them delivered and everything, you look at some of the items that they have at the Diamond Shop that are absolutely beautiful. Those are timeless. They're not going to wilt and die like flowers will. Really make a statement this Valentine's Day with the Diamond Shop. They're wonderful people. They will guide you through the process, and they offer a ton of services both as you're leading up to your purchase and after the fact. They do custom jewelry. They do jewelry and watch repair as well. They can also offer you appraisals, and they will also purchase your gold. With a wide selection of engagement and wedding rings, fine jewelry, and watches, your Valentine's Day shopping needs are absolutely met and attended at the Diamond Shop. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Mark Reardon, and Annie Fry, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Do you worry about losing your nest egg with the volatility of the stock market? Would you like to know why linking to the market is smarter and safer than owning the market? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any losses and provide more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, January 30th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com. Hi, Mark Cox here to tell you about Hampton Manor of Wentzville, the brand new premier senior living community that is truly premier in every way. They've got a personal chef preparing the main courses, a pastry chef, amenities like a movie theater with plush seating. They've even got a spa with a hair salon and massages and manicures and more. Schedule your appointment today at wentzvilleassistedliving.com. That's wentzvilleassistedliving.com.
The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day. Are we experiencing deja vu Trump? Yes. Trump 2016? Yes. Trump 2020? Or no? Those are your 3 options. We'll give you the results of that poll in a couple minutes here in our last segment here in the Annie Fry Show before Mark Reardon comes in. 2:47 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon getting set to go on this Tuesday edition. So my question is, as we get started, now what? The Iowa caucuses are over. Does it even matter? We're going to talk about it after Fox News.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
AC and DC?
Yeah, you got it again. You're getting really good at this.
Let's just guess them. It's got to be them sometime. This is AC/DC, right?
Are you serious? No, it's not. Yeah, you got it.
God.
Second try.
They're the same thing.
Yeah, AC/DC's other songs, I Was Made for Loving You, Rock and Roll All Night.
You think I'm joking when I say AC/DC? I was very proud of myself for getting that right.
AC/DC with face paint.
No,
I thought
that
they were
is
the
a
same.
disgrace to AC/DC.
I thought they were the same.
They are
people.
not. No, they're not the same band. AC/DC never did disco, which Kiss did. I was made for loving you, baby. That is
That's
disco.
Kiss?
That's Kiss.
That's in Moulin Rouge.
Is it really? Now I didn't know that.
The only way of loving me, baby. Is that part of it? Is to pay a lovely fee.
I don't know the verses well enough to tell you.
Oh man,
Might be.
I can tell you the whole Moulin Rouge, front to back, back to front.
No thanks.
Best movie ever made. Ewan McGregor, very talented.
Agree with that statement, but
Speaking of the YouTube live chat poll, which we weren't, but we should have been, I want you to go vote real quick. We'll get to the results here in about 5 minutes or 6 minutes or so. Are we experiencing deja vu Trump? Yes, Trump 2016. Yes, Trump 2020. Or no? Let us know what you think. Why don't you wrap up some of those thoughts that you had or suggestions? Sure. Reset the table for us on what you were talking about at 12:45 on Wiggins America.
So these are essential teen dating rules and really how to discuss them. Now, this article is saying they're essential. We're just talking about whether we agree with them. But the first two that it mentioned was, one, decide on an appropriate age that your teen can start dating. Number two was your teen's relationship should be healthy, which is a very broad topic, but it's
good suggestion.
Yeah, saying that you can't really choose who they're interested in dating, but you can help guide them, which I thought was good advice. And then we were just starting to hit on the third one, which is be cautious about everything in the virtual world concerning dating, which is, of course, something that this generation is having to deal with that our generation did not. And we were talking about sending text messages, which is honestly where a lot of these relationships live anymore, is in text, in social media, and what to do and what not to do. And you said something very bold. You said you have to talk to them about sending pictures of yourself, even though that's an uncomfortable conversation.
When children have access to these phones, they learn how these things go from their peers. And kids who are very, very well-intended, good, naive children also learn these things from their peers. So you're teaching them at home, to have standards, to have that you have expectations for them, that they should have respect for themselves. But if you think back on when you were dating, whether you're a millennial like we are, whether you're Gen X or boomers or whatever you might be, you learn from your peers. You just did. And there were things that you told your parents, but it was the bare minimum. There were definitely things that you didn't tell your parents. That is no different than right now, but except for they have the internet at their fingertips. Children ask other children for pictures of themselves, inappropriate pictures. This is what they learn from their peer group. You have to talk to your kids. I mean, I can't stress enough. Say to your kids, one day, someone is going to ask you to send a photo of yourself that is exposing of yourself. They're going to ask you to send it, and you're going to think that they're just asking it for themselves. Don't ever, ever, ever do that. Don't send it. You can't get that photo back. Everything that you put, every picture that you take on your camera, even if you don't send it to anybody, imagine it being on television for the world to see, because that could happen. Your kids are going to be asked to do this. And there are a lot of our kids who are going to ask other people to do it because this is what they've been made to understand how this process goes. And for a generation, like you said, Ryan, we were not raised in a world where you could send pictures to people like this. That did not exist for us. So it's not on the top of mind. It's not like the way kids are based on the way we were when we were kids, because it didn't exist. And it might seem jaw-droppingly shocking to think that there will be 10-year-olds out there asking for nudes from other 10-year-olds. That is a fact of the matter. That exists out there. You have to get ahead of it. You have to look your child in the eye, and you have to explain to them that this is what's going to happen and that mom and dad are here for you. And you don't need to be ashamed of anything, but This is the gravity of this situation. And it sounds crazy to articulate that. I mean, that and the idea that porn is everywhere. It's so accessible. It is so tempting for young kids. And it's so prevalent. I think people would be shocked at how young kids are looking at this type of stuff and sharing it because of the curiosity. That is why in our family, phones are only ever used in public places. There's never a phone in someone's hand when it is a private situation.
Last stat I saw on that subject, average age that kids are exposed to pornography, 9.
Yeah.
That's the average age,
Yeah.
which means there are kids younger than that being exposed to pornography, and they might not have even intended to. That's how prevalent it is, and that's how evil people are, that they will share those things with kids.
And how evil the world is.
So
it's prowling for your children.
Have these conversations with your kids. That's what I'm stressing here in that segment and this one. It is uncomfortable. Your kids are probably, depending on their age especially, they're going to roll their eyes at you. They also appreciate that you care enough to have that conversation with
Even them knowing that you know that these things exist will put them in a frame of mind that this isn't secretive and my parents are too in the Stone Age to understand what really goes on. I told Brad, and I don't know if we have anybody listening right now that does this, but I want to get like an FBI agent or somebody on here to talk about the reality of the situation. So you're not just taking my mom word for it.
That would be awesome.
I would love to have an hour conversation. We could take phone calls and comments and discuss this issue. So we're gonna work on that. The YouTube live chat poll for today: are we experiencing deja vu Trump? We asked you. We wanted to know what you think. 18% of you said yes, we are Trump 2020.
Okay,
that was the least of it. 39% said no, we're not experiencing deja vu Trump for an array of reasons, which we've read a lot of your comments on the air. And 43%, the majority in this 3-option poll, said yes, this is Trump 2016. So I think there's a little bounce in some steps right now after Trump's win in Iowa. If Donald Trump goes and wins New Hampshire over Nikki Haley by 5 or 10 points, she needs to sit down.
Which is what it's looking like right now.
I hope so. Especially, and then she goes to South Carolina. They go to South Carolina, her home state, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It feels to me like America, at least conservative-minded people, freedom-minded people in America, are saying, we're going to give Trump the second term he did not get in 2020, and we're pretty okay with that. So what you've been saying, and we'll continue to poll you guys on it as we march towards the November elections. Keep it here, because Mark Reardon has you at 3 o'clock. Don't go away.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost